Chapter 1626. What? It's really Tang. Then the hidden Tang family and me. Rock Candy's breathing quickened. Palace Master. The surname Tang is a common surname. In the entire town, many families have this surname. It might not be the hidden Tang family, so we didn't think it was the hidden Tang family at all. Little Qing waved her hand and explained. At that time, we saw the word Tang, so the Palace Master gave you the name Rock Candy. Because the Palace Master saw your physique. She wanted to take you in as her last disciple and take over the Ice Palace. So, she gave you the surname of the Ice Palace. I see. Rock Candy nodded and said self-deprecatingly. If that's the case, then let's go and meet this Elder Tang who might be my grandfather. Little Qing nodded her head silently. She understood Rock Candy's thoughts. Especially after hearing about what happened that year. Rock Candy found it hard to calm down. Rock Candy and Little Qing's appearance gave Grandfather Tang and Tang Yu a fright. It could only be described as appearing without a sound, standing quietly in front of them. Even Grandfather Tang, a heaven-rank initial stage expert, could not sense the slightest bit of his aura. Rock Candy was a heaven-rank late-phase expert, so naturally, she was powerful. But Little Qing was a heaven-rank middle-stage expert, yet Grandfather Tang couldn't sense it. This made Grandfather Tang understand that he, a heaven-rank early-stage expert, had only just entered the door. He was still far from the other party. When Grandfather Tang saw Rock Candy in person, he was visibly moved. Although the person in front of him didn't look exactly like Little Ming, they looked very similar. His heart was filled with excitement. If the Palace Master of the Ice Palace was really from the Hidden Tang family, then wouldn't the Hidden Tang family become the Ancient Tang family? This Tang greets the Palace Master of the Ice Palace. Although Grandfather Tang was excited, he maintained his composure as he cupped his fists and bowed. Although he might be Rock Candy's grandfather, he was not yet, right? Tang Tang, is that you? Xiaoming looked at Rock Candy in a daze. This young woman in front of her gave her an inexplicable sense of closeness. She was 70 to 80% similar to when she was young. You are. Rock Candy's heart was in turmoil. When she saw the woman in front of her, she also felt a sense of familiarity. However, because of the resentment in her heart for what happened in the past, her attitude was very cold. You're Tang Tang. You must be Tang Tang. Xiaoming didn't care if the other party was an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. She directly ran over and hugged Tang Tang. Old Man Tang and Tang Yu broke out in cold sweat. If this kind of rude behavior made the other party angry, they would have to bear the consequences. Rock Candy frowned, but didn't push Xiaoming away in the end. At this moment, the resentment in her heart was suppressed by Bingtang. Regardless of what Elder Tang was thinking, the woman in front of him was definitely showing her true feelings. Rock Candy was a heaven stage expert. How sharp was her divine sense? This Xiaoming was only an ordinary person. If she had the slightest bit of pretense, it naturally wouldn't escape Bingtang's eyes. Xiaoming's feelings for Bingtang came from the bottom of her heart. How could such a person be the heartless parents who abandoned her in the past? Bingtang wasn't stupid. There might be some hidden story behind this. She looked at the respectful old Master Tang, then looked at the agitated Xiaoming. Comparing the expressions of the two of them, Rock Candy was very clear. My name is Bingtang. This. Auntie, can you let go of me first? Bingtang hesitated for a while and called Xiaoming Auntie. Before confirming, Bingtang wouldn't call her anything. Although in her heart, Bingtang was pretty sure that Xiaoming was related to her. If not, how could there be such similar people in this world? At first glance, the two of them looked very similar. Although looking at them carefully, there were still many differences. However, they looked exactly the same. They were twins, not mother and daughter. Ah, okay. Xiaoming suddenly remembered that the other party's identity was the leader of an ancient sect. That was a much higher existence than the Hidden Tang family. Seeing that the usually arrogant Elder Tang was so respectful, Xiaoming instantly rubbed her hands awkwardly and didn't know what to do. Tang. Elder Tang, I want to clarify something. Back then, how did you lose your child? Bingtang didn't blame Xiaoming for being rude. Instead, she directly looked at Elder Tang and asked. Palace Master, back then a servant brought Tang Tang out to play. In the end, The servant was in urgent need of the toilet and wanted to find a place to relieve himself. So, he placed Tang Tang on the snowy ground and went to relieve himself. Because he took a long time to relieve himself, when he returned, he discovered that Tang Tang was already gone. Elder Tang had already thought of an excuse. This was also what he and Tang Yuyu had previously said. Although Xiaoming knew that this was a lie, she didn't have any right to say anything. Now that she could reunite with her daughter, she was already satisfied. So Xiaoming pursed her lips and lowered her head, afraid that her expression would reveal something. However, Bingtang had been paying attention to Xiaoming's expression. The more Xiaoming acted like this, the more suspicious Bingtang became. After hearing Elder Tang's explanation, she calmly said, "Oh, that means that servant accidentally lost the baby? Where did that servant go? Why isn't he here?" That servant has already been executed. She made such a big mistake. How could I let her live? Grandfather Tang pretended to be angry. She lost my granddaughter. How could she expect to live? Oh, then what's her strength? Rock Candy continued to ask. Grandfather Tang was stunned. He did not know why Bingtang would suddenly ask about this servant's strength. For a moment, he was unable to react. However, he was a cautious person and couldn't help but vaguely say, it was too long ago, I don't remember it clearly." Nonsense. Bingtang snorted coldly. "I'm an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. Can't she sense if there's anyone within a 1-kilometer radius? Urinate? It's really rare for your family's servants to relieve themselves, huh? Ran a kilometer away?" Cold sweat broke out on Grandfather Tang's forehead. He never thought that the person who picked up the rock candy was her. Furthermore, she was an expert at the peak of heaven stage late phase. At this moment, Grandfather Tang finally understood why Bingtang had asked him about the servant's strength. Chapter 1627. Only someone who was also a heaven ranker could hide from the divine sense of a heaven ranker and not be discovered by a heaven ranker. If one were to say that the servant was not discovered because he was a heaven ranker, that would be pure bullshit. Let alone a hidden aristocratic family. Even if it was an ancient sect or an ancient family, if a heaven-ranked expert did not commit an unforgivable crime, they would not be executed so easily. Not to mention the fact that he lost a baby, and it wasn't intentional. Even if it was intentional, they couldn't just execute him. Unless the family had a lot of heaven rankers, but the hidden Tang family was obviously not like that. "I want to hear the truth," Bingtang said plainly. "Does old Master Tang think that I am easy to bully because I am young?" After saying that, the aura of a peak late-stage heaven rank was completely unleashed. Old Master Tang, who was standing there, couldn't help but shiver and almost fell to the ground. As for Tang Yuyu, he was so scared that he didn't dare to raise his head. On the contrary, Xiaoming, who was an ordinary person, looked at Rock Candy with deep love in her eyes. How would this Tang dare? Old Master Tang smiled bitterly. It was true that Bingtang was his granddaughter, but she was also the palace master of the Ice Palace. What kind of existence was that? Even the old ancestor of the Everyday and Everyday Day sect had to respect her. He was just a heaven ranker. In her eyes, he was really nothing. "Since you don't want to speak, please go back. Let bygones be bygones. I don't want to hear it anymore," Bingtang said plainly and turned to leave. Tang, don't go." Xiaoming saw that Bingtang was about to leave and subconsciously rushed over, wanting to pull her back. But when she thought of the fact that she was a heaven-ranked expert, she instinctively let go of Bingtang's arm. She was a little timid and careful. "Sorry, Palace Master Bing." Looking at the girl in front of her, who was very likely to be her mother, Bingtang sighed. For now, she didn't care what that old fox old Master Tang was thinking. This Xiaoming should be caring for her. Thinking of this, Bingtang stopped in her tracks. What exactly happened that year? It's all fate. Old Master Tang sighed dejectedly. "Forget it. Our family's misfortune. This old man will take the blame. Xiaoming, you should say it." Back then, Elder Tang had also given his approval. Without his approval, how could the servants of the Tang family lose a granddaughter? "My father." Xiaoming didn't know what to say and didn't dare to say anything casually. Back then, Old Master Tang had reminded her repeatedly not to speak carelessly, so Xiaoming didn't know what to say now. Just tell the truth. If we lie, someone as powerful as Palace Master Bingtang will be able to tell with a single glance. Grandfather Tang subtly flattered Rock Candy. However, Rock Candy's expression was very indifferent as she said, "Let's talk in another room." After speaking, he turned and walked towards the door. Boss Li, who was behind him, also cleverly prepared a room for Bingtang. Xiaoming hesitated for a moment, then followed. Old Man Tang and Tang Yu didn't follow either. The Ice Palace Master clearly didn't want them to participate, so they didn't want to be hated. As for eavesdropping, although Old Man Tang was a Heaven Realm expert, he didn't dare to do so. Rock Candy and Little Qing were both Heaven Realm experts, and they were much stronger than him. If he eavesdropped like this, he would definitely be discovered. If he angered Rock Candy, it wouldn't be worth it. Boss Li didn't enter the room. After letting Rock Candy, Little Qing and Xiaoming enter, he closed the door and guarded it like a door god. Being alone with Rock Candy, Xiaoming was a little nervous and a little excited. The person in front of her was most likely her daughter, but Xiaoming didn't dare to rashly acknowledge her, nor did she dare to say anything. She just stood there cautiously, not knowing what to do. "Auntie, please take a seat." Rock Candy's tone was much gentler than before. Just now, she was the high and mighty Palace Master of Ice Palace, but now, she was a little girl without any airs. "Okay." Xiaoming hurriedly nodded and sat down obediently. "Auntie, you don't have to be so reserved. I can tell that you are very worried about your daughter, right?" Rock Candy looked at Xiaoming and couldn't help but sigh. In these 19 years there wasn't a day that I didn't miss my daughter." Hearing Rock Candy's question, Xiaoming's tears instantly flowed down. She felt a little sad and miserable. "That is my child, my flesh and blood. But she left me a few days after she was born. I miss her every day. I want her to return to my arms and call me Mummy." Xiaoming's chatterbox started to open up. She told Rock Candy all her yearning for her daughter all these years. But in the end, it was all about yearning and longing. There wasn't any main point. But Rock Candy didn't disturb her. She listened quietly, listening to this mother's yearning for her daughter. To be honest, Rock Candy didn't really care about Old Man Tang. So what if he was her grandfather? Back then he abandoned her. That was equivalent to cutting off all ties. But she couldn't not care about Xiaoming. From how Xiaoming carefully asked about Old Man Tang's situation just now, she could tell that Xiaoming's position in the Tang family wasn't high. She definitely wasn't the young mistress. The identity of her mother that was written in the letter was definitely nonsense. From the looks of it now, she was at most a concubine. Then, how did you end up separating from her? After Xiaoming finished speaking, Rock Candy sighed and asked. To be honest, at that moment, Rock Candy even wanted to pounce on Xiaoming and call her Mummy. But she resisted the urge and didn't do that. Firstly, the matter wasn't confirmed yet. Secondly, she still hadn't thought of how to deal with her relationship with the hidden Tang family. That year, Xiaoming's chatterbox started to open up. My sister married a child from a branch of the hidden Tang family. Although he was also part of the Tang family, he wasn't a direct relative of Old Man Tang. He was a collateral relative, and could only be considered as a member of the same family. But when he married and had children, he had to go to the hidden Tang family to register. It was at that time that I accompanied my sister and brother-in-law to go to the Tang family to register. Then the young master of the Tang family, who was also Tang's father, took a fancy to me. Under the influence of alcohol, I couldn't resist even if I wanted to. Speaking up to this point, Xiaoming sighed slightly. She didn't have any background, and was just a girl from an ordinary family. When faced with such a situation, how could she be a match for Boss Tang? Target =_blank. Chapter 1628. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Rock Candy snorted. She didn't expect the hidden Tang family's big young master to be such a bad person. Then, I was left in the hidden Tang family and became big young master's concubine. Not long after, I got pregnant. Xiaoming sighed. But big young mistress saw me as a thorn in her side. She was also from a hidden family, so she didn't like me and wanted to teach me a lesson. I almost had a miscarriage a few times. Xiaoming recounted the situation back then, until the eldest young mistress sent people to snatch the child away. Rock Candy was infuriated and slammed her palm on the jade table in the room of the inn. However, the jade table turned into a pile of powder. Big young mistress? Is she very powerful? Rock Candy's voice was very cold. If that big young mistress was in front of her, Rock Candy would have slapped her to death. No matter how powerful the hidden family behind her was, they wouldn't dare to fart in front of Rock Candy. They would even clap their hands and say, "Good hit." Sai, you can't blame her for this. It's normal for her to be jealous. Xiaoming shook her head. Normal? Then, that big young master is too useless? Rock Candy said plainly. He can't even control his own woman, so how can he be the head of the family? He might as well die. Xiaoming felt a little awkward. Although the two of them weren't very happy when they first got together, after so many years and they even had a child, Xiaoming still had some feelings for Boss Tang. She also knew of his difficulties, so she didn't hate anyone. She was that kind of person. Let's find a hospital and do a paternity test. Although we look similar, nothing is too strange in this world. Rock Candy calmed her emotions and said plainly, "If you are really my mother, then you can stay in the Ice Palace. I don't want to go back to that family, and I can't go back either." Xiaoming was stunned. She knew what old Master Tang meant. He wanted Rock Candy to return to the family. That way, the hidden Tang family's power would increase more than double. But now, Rock Candy didn't seem to have any intention of returning to the Tang family. We'll talk about other things when the time comes. Rock Candy could tell that Xiaoming was in a difficult position, and sighed in her heart at how kind she was. However, everything would have to wait until the results of the paternity test was out. Now that science was so advanced, it was very easy to do a paternity test. Although Bingtang was in an ancient sect, she was not the kind of person who did not pay attention to the outside world. She still knew about the technology outside. Okay. Xiaoming hurriedly nodded. After leaving the room and returning to Old Master Tang's previous room, Old Master Tang saw that Bingtang's expression wasn't very good, and wanted to ask how Xiaoming was doing. However, he hesitated, not knowing what to say, afraid that he would anger Bingtang. Go to the hospital for a paternity test. Bingtang said faintly. Good. I'll go now. Grandfather Tang was overjoyed. By saying this, did Rock Candy want to acknowledge the Tang family's identity? At the thought of this, Elder Tang was overjoyed. Bingtang didn't care about Elder Tang's expression, and directly walked out of the room, leaving behind a few words. Wait for me here tomorrow morning. With that, Rock Candy left the inn with Little Qing and returned to the Ice Snow Spiritual Mountain. Only Old Master Tang, who was so happy that his mouth was twitching, and Xiaoming, who was a little reluctant to leave, were left behind. As for Tang Yuyu, he felt that things weren't that simple. Who was this Palace Master Bing? She was the head of an ancient sect. How could she go back to the Tang family to acknowledge her ancestors? If it was really an accident that year, it would still be fine. However, what happened that year wasn't an accident. My dear mother, you're really a scammer. Tang Yuyu scolded in his heart. Not only did she scam her own father, she also scammed the entire hidden Tang family. Such an amazing person was thrown away just like that? This night was destined to be a sleepless night. Xiaoming was so excited that she couldn't sleep. Her heart was filled with sweetness. Old Master Tang and Tang Yuyu thought about the future of the Tang family, both worried and happy. Bingtang didn't know how to face this hidden Tang family. Boss Tang, that father of hers? Kill him? Her mother, Xiaoming, definitely wouldn't agree. She had no choice but to use that eldest young mistress as an example. As for the hidden family behind eldest young mistress, Bingtang didn't even care about them. Palace Master, rest early. Little Qing saw Bingtang's worries and couldn't help but advise. And okay, Aunt Qing. Although Bingtang said that, she didn't feel sleepy at all. The next morning, Bingtang brought Little Qing to the inn as promised. Old Master Tang, Tang Yuyu and Xiaoming were already dressed and waiting in the lobby of the inn. When they saw Bingtang and Little Qing, they immediately went over to welcome them respectfully. Bingtang and Little Qing didn't wear their usual silk clothes today. Instead, they changed into normal clothes. The current Bingtang looked like a normal young girl, bright and beautiful, just like a university student. However, Bingtang's face was still as cold as ever. There wasn't a trace of a smile on her face. The few of them didn't say much. Since Bingtang didn't say anything, Old Master Tang and the others naturally didn't dare to say anything. They directly got into the car and headed to the nearest hospital to do a paternity test. The two cars directly drove to the nearest hospital. After registering, Bingtang and Xiaoming entered the laboratory together to do mitochondrial sequencing and autosomal STR typing. Because there weren't many people doing this, the results were out very quickly. Bingtang was expressionless, while Xiaoming was excited and nervous. As for Old Master Tang and Tang Yuyu, their hearts were filled with bitterness. Bingtang knew that her initial plan had failed. Whether hiding the Tang family was a blessing or a curse, she still wasn't sure. The results were finally out. However, the results were a little strange. The DNA similarity between the two of them is around 25%. In theory, the DNA similarity between mother and daughter should be above 50%. However, we can't rule out exceptions, the doctor said. The doctor said, although this similarity may also appear between two strangers and ordinary people, the possibility is very small. This kind of similarity mostly appears in maternal family members, so the possibility of the two examiners being mother and daughter cannot be ruled out. Ah! Old Master Tang was stunned by the doctor's words. Possible? How could it only be possible? How could such a situation happen? He couldn't help but feel a little annoyed. How did your hospital do the test? How could there be a possibility? What we can confirm now is that the examiner should be a member of the maternal family. The father didn't come. If the father came, we could do a DNA test and we would be able to confirm it, the doctor explained. If the father didn't come, can grandfather do it? Old Master Tang was a little regretful that he didn't bring eldest brother Tang along. Grandfather can do it too. We can do a Y chromosome STR typing. If the Y chromosome comparison results are out, and the examiner is also a member of the paternal family, we can confirm the child's identity, the doctor said. Target =_blank. Chapter 1629. On the other hand, he admired third concubine's character very much. Thus, he had played with third concubine since he was young. His relationship with third concubine was even deeper than that of his biological mother. So without waiting for Elder Tang to express his opinion, Tang Yu spoke first. No matter what, no matter how bad that woman is, she is still my mother. Elder Qing, do you think it's possible for her to switch places with third aunt? I have been close to third auntie since I was young, and I will treat her like my own mother. Third auntie can prove this. Although Tang Yuyu's words were clear, he was also telling little Qing that his mother and Xiaoming's places had been swapped. Since their places had changed, their identities had naturally changed too. However, he didn't kill them all. Holy Church, I can prove this. I brought Yuyu up to play with since he was young. He has always loved and respected me. Xiaoming quickly added. Sure. Little Qing nodded. Then it's decided. When Elder Tang arrives, get Xiaoli, who is also manager Li, to contact me. This. Elder Qing, it will be this Tang's 80th birthday soon. Everyone in the Tang family will be attending, including my cousin's branch family. So, do you think the palace lord can also attend as a member of the Tang family? Elder Tang asked carefully. How about this? It won't be too late to do a DNA test when we get there. I can't make this decision. I will ask the palace master first before giving you an answer. Little Qing didn't say anything. She just took note of it. Okay. Grandfather Tang happily nodded his head. Elder Qing, thank you for your trouble. Little Qing waved her hands and didn't reply. She turned around and left Elder Tang's room. Then she floated away. After hearing Little Qing's words, Rock Tang hesitated for a moment before agreeing to Elder Tang's request. Firstly, she wanted to see the place where she was born. Secondly, she wanted to take this opportunity to go out for a walk. In the past 20 years, Rock Tang had spent her entire life in the Ice Palace. She had never left the Ice Palace. News from the outside was passed on by the outer disciples. She had never seen it herself. So, Elder Tang's suggestion moved her heart. It wasn't because she wanted to give Elder Tang face, but because she wanted to experience the world for herself. Alright, I'll go. Bingtang nodded. Go and reply to him. Since it's the 80th birthday, the clansman can attend. If he wants to use this opportunity to show off his strength and invite people from other clans, I won't show up. How could Rock Candy not know what Grandfather Tang was thinking? It was better for him to keep a low profile for the birthday banquet. The Ice Palace wanted the Hidden Tang family to work for them, so he had to control it well. He couldn't let the Hidden Tang family get too full of themselves and use the Ice Palace's name to do some bad things. I understand, Palace Master. Little Qing nodded. I'll go check on Lil Shimmy. Let's bring her along this time. She's new here, and she's not used to it. I'm afraid she'll get sick, Crystal Candy said. It was obvious that she cared a lot about Xiao Xiao. Yeah, alright. I'll go talk to the Hidden Tang family right now. Qing nodded and went back. Crystal Candy, on the other hand, flew towards the peak of the mountain with the most energy. Xiao Xiao hadn't slacked off at all since entering the Ice Palace. Other than eating and sleeping, she'd been training here every day. She was one of the most hard-working disciples in the Ice Palace, but everyone understood the heavy responsibility on her shoulders. She was an inheritor, a very important role. She had to exist to open up Sky Class Island. Senior sister? Xiao Xiao stopped her training and raised her head to see Crystal Candy not far from her. She paused. Why are you here? With Xiao Xiao's current strength, naturally, she wouldn't be able to sense Crystal Candy's arrival. Xiao Xiao, are you used to the Ice Palace? Crystal Candy sat beside Xiao Xiao, not putting on any airs like a palace master should. It's all right. Xiao Xiao wasn't too happy that she couldn't see Lin Yi anymore, but thinking that this short separation was for them to be together in the future, she got over it. I'm going out in a few days. Do you want to come with me? Crystal Candy asked. Going out? To where? Can I go see Lin Yi, honey? Xiao Xiao asked excitedly. Crystal Candy couldn't help but smile bitterly. This Xiao Xiao was acting like she didn't care before, but now she was excited after hearing that she could go out. Crystal Candy didn't want her to go see Lin Yi. To be honest, Crystal Candy really didn't think much of Lin Yi's strength. He was known as the strongest under Earth class, but she wouldn't even look at him if he was the strongest under Sky class. Xiao Xiao would become an inheritor in the future, and she would have the chance to step into Sky Dao and reach that legendary level. At that time, Lin Yi's strength would be laughably weak in her eyes. Would she still be so attached to Lin Yi? But according to Crystal Candy's observations, she would. The relationship between these two couldn't be measured by strength. Back then, Lin Yi was a mystic, but he joined the test for Xiao Xiao, who had no strength at all. He even offended people stronger than him. This proved this point. The two places are quite far away. I don't know if it's okay. If you have time, we can meet. Crystal Candy didn't reject her junior sister's request. She was strict with others in the Ice Palace, but she couldn't be strict with this weird junior sister. Whether you were strict or not, the way she talked to you didn't change at all. Even when Rock Candy was with her, she unconsciously became a little neurotic. Sure, Xiao Xiao was happy. I'm a golden class now. If Lin Yi honey sees this, he'll be so happy. Xiao Xiao's training speed wasn't slow at all. In less than a month, she was already a golden class. Only a special constitution and a special practitioner's arts could have this kind of effect in the heritage grounds. Crystal Candy was speechless. The next day, Crystal Candy, Xiao Xiao, and Qing set off on their journey. With them was Elder Tang, Tang Yuyu, and Qing of the Hidden House. At the same time, the Hidden Tang family had finally received confirmation from Grandfather Tang and found out the purpose of his visit. Before, Elder Tang hadn't confirmed Crystal Candy's background, so naturally he wouldn't say anything. If Tang Yuyu really got the wrong person, then things would get out of hand. Not only would Hidden House Tang be treated as a joke, but the Ice Palace might even blame them. Chapter 1630. But now Rock Candy's identity was basically set in stone. He would naturally explain it to his family. Hidden in the Tang family, Boss Tang looked at his legal wife, Yu Xiaoxin, with a dark expression on his face. He slapped her face and trembled in anger. You wastrel, you threw away Xiao Ming's child back then. Look at you now, she's the Ice Palace's palace master. When she comes back, you can wait for your death. Not to mention you, even your Hidden Yu family will be finished. Yu Xiaoxing covered her swollen face and didn't dare to say anything. Although she was arrogant, it was only because she had the backing of the hidden Yu family. But now, in the eyes of the Ice Palace, the hidden Yu family wasn't like an ant. It was like the difference between a tiger and a cat. So Yu Xiaoxing didn't dare to say anything. She really regretted it. She should have drowned the child instead of throwing him away. She didn't expect that the child didn't die and actually became the palace master of the Ice Palace. It could be said that she didn't regret it even now. This woman was hopeless. You've caused my death. By then, you can beg for mercy on your knees. Don't drag me down with you. This was the first time that Boss Tang was so unyielding in front of his legal wife. Now he was going to be in big trouble. If Rock Candy came back, old Master Tang would be fine. And Xiaoming would be fine too. The ones who would be in trouble would be him and Yu Xiaoxing. Yu Xiaoxing lowered her head and didn't speak. She was also very afraid, but it was useless to be afraid. At this time, she could only think of a way to escape. I'll move into Xiaoming's room today and give this place to her, okay? I hope it won't affect our hidden Yu family, Yu Xiaoxing said carefully. Then get lost. Boss Tang roared angrily. Of course, in the entire hidden Tang family, other than Boss Tang's branch, the remaining brothers were very happy. They didn't participate in the incident back then. So if Boss Tang fell this time, they would have a chance to take over. However, unexpectedly, after Rock Candy arrived at the hidden Tang family, she didn't start a massacre. As for Yu Xiaoxing, who had already moved into Xiaoming's cold courtyard, Rock Candy didn't bother about her either, as if she had ignored this person. This made Boss Tang heave a sigh of relief. Since Rock Candy could spare Yu Xiaoxing, then she could certainly spare Boss Tang. Tang, how is it? Are you used to this room? That night, eldest brother Tang, accompanied by grandfather Tang, went to Rock Candy's room to ask about her well-being. Rock Candy frowned slightly. The DNA test hasn't been done yet. I don't want to see you. Tang Big Bro was a bit embarrassed. Haha, aren't we going to do the appraisal tomorrow? Old man, why can't you understand? I told you to scram, didn't you hear me? After finding out about Bingtong's background, Xiao Xiao hated Boss Tang to the core. She was a person who dared to love and hate, and she wanted nothing more than to kick a heartless man like him to death. Boss Tang didn't know who Xiao Xiao was, but he heard that Qing was Bingtong's aunt, an elder of Ice Palace who raised Bingtang. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was only a golden class and didn't know how to hide. She was just a normal maid. Boss Tang, naturally, didn't dare say anything when Bingtang and Qing scolded him, but being scolded by a maid like this, Boss Tang was losing face. He was the head of the hidden Tang house, an Earth-class late-phase peak master. Being told to scram by a golden-class early-phase girl made his face turn ugly. I say, little girl, I'm the father of your palace master. Don't you think it's a bit rude for you to say something like that? She's my junior sister, the next Ice Palace master, Bingtang said faintly. Is there a problem with talking to you like that? Wah. Boss Tang was stunned. He almost choked to death after hearing what Bingtang said. Junior sister? The next Ice Palace master? Why was she only golden class? What was going on? Of course, if what Bingtang said was true, then even if Xiao Xiao, the next Ice Palace master, beat him up as a golden class, he wouldn't dare fight back. As if noticing Boss Tang's doubt, Qing explained. Xiao Xiao entered the Ice Palace less than a month ago, and was just a normal person before. But the palace master has already decided on her as the next palace master. She'll become a sky class very soon. Cough. Boss Tang was even more shocked. Less than a month, from a normal person to a golden class? What kind of speed was that? So fast. She really was the next palace master. Boss Tang said awkwardly. I'm sorry, young palace master, I didn't know. Humph. Xiao Xiao humphed and ignored him. Go ahead, head Tang, Qing said faintly as she gestured for the guest to leave. The results of the DNA test were out of everyone's expectations. What was supposed to be a sure thing turned into a dramatic change. Bingtong's DNA was similar to Boss Tang's, but it wasn't close enough to be inherited from a father and daughter. It was very similar to Elder Tang and Bingtang. In other words, Bingtang was a member of House Tang, but not Boss Tang's daughter. After hearing this news, Boss Tang's face turned green. He really wanted to curse that bitch Xiaoming. She actually hooked up with another man in House Tang. He felt guilty all this time. If he knew that Bing Tang was a bastard, he wouldn't have needed to do anything to her and would have killed her. But now, even if he hated her, he couldn't express it. It didn't matter whether he was Bing Tang's father or not. To Bing Tang, he was just a passerby. If he dared to do anything to Xiaoming, Bing Tang would probably kill him with one slap. So no matter how much he hated her, he didn't dare to say anything. After Elder Tang got the results of the test, he seemed to have aged a few years. He shouted, "Misfortune, misfortune. How could something like this happen?" Normally, when such a scandal happened in a family, the first thing they should do was to find the child's mother, Xiaoming, and ask her who the father was. However, no one in the Hidden Tang family dared to do so. This was because Bing Tang was standing behind Xiaoming. As long as Bing Tang didn't agree, no one could force Xiaoming to do anything. Rock Candy looked at the appraisal report expressionlessly. Actually, to Bing Tang, it was enough that her mother was confirmed. As for who her father was, it didn't matter. Chapter 1631. In the entire Tang family, other than Tang Yiyu, Bing Tang didn't like anyone else. Although this was a family scandal, abandoning Bing Tang back then was already a huge family scandal. This kind of small matter wasn't a big deal. And Bing Tang didn't even have the intention to ask Xiaoming. Since that was the case, it was even better. Regarding the Hidden Tang family's attitude, it was even easier for Bing Tang to deal with it. She would treat the Hidden Tang family as a family member. Without the restrictions of familial ties, Bing Tang felt much better. Just like the relationship between the common House Yu and the Hidden House Yu, Bing Tang's relationship with the Hidden Tang family was the same. Since she couldn't ask Bing Tang, she could only ask her own family members. In the Hidden Tang family's meeting room, Grandfather Tang sat in the main seat with a fierce expression. He looked at all the members of the Hidden Tang family and slammed the table heavily. "Speak. Who did this back then? If you speak now, I won't pursue the matter, nor can I. With Sect Master Bing Tang's status, this matter can only be treated as a family scandal. But if I find out who did it, don't blame me for being impolite." After many years of accumulated power, Grandfather Tang's words carried enormous weight in the Tang family. So after Grandfather Tang finished speaking, the members of the Tang family were very careful, not even daring to breathe loudly. "Not speaking? None of you want to speak?" Grandfather Tang waited for a long time. Seeing that no one spoke, he slammed the table and sneered. "Fine, since none of you want to speak, then I'll have everyone do a DNA test. I want to see who did it." Of course, after Grandfather Tang finished speaking, no one spoke. They all lowered their heads in silence, each with their own thoughts. 7 asterisk. "Fine, if that's the case, you call the doctor over and have everyone do a DNA test." Grandfather Tang said angrily. "Yes, Grandfather." Tang Yiyu smiled bitterly. This was a situation he had never imagined. He never thought that his third aunt would give birth to Bing Tang with someone else. However, this kind of thing couldn't be talked about, so he could only follow his grandfather's instructions and find a doctor to do a DNA test on every member of the Tang family. After the doctor arrived, Elder Tang observed every single member of the Tang family. However, he realized that every single one of them were calm and collected. It was as if this matter had nothing to do with them. There was not the slightest hint of guilt on their faces. This made Grandfather Tang a little puzzled. What was going on? Could it be that Rock Candy was not their child? The results of the DNA test were quickly released, and just as Elder Tang had guessed, Rock Candy was related to them by blood. But when it came to parentage, she was not. These people were not Rock Candy's father. Grandfather Tang really had no other choice but to pass the news to Xiaoming. Although he didn't say it explicitly, he hoped that she would tell him the truth. However, Xiaoming felt wronged. Back then, she only had a relationship with Big Brother Tang. After that, she had Tang Tang. She had never had any contact with other men. So it was impossible for her to have an improper relationship with another man. Although the Tang family did not say anything, the way they looked at Xiaoming was a little strange. When Xiaoming arrived at the meeting room, she felt her face burning up. She really didn't want to come, but she had no choice. This matter was related to her innocence, So Xiaoming had to explain herself. But how was she going to explain herself? How was Xiaoming going to prove herself? Just as Xiaoming was at a loss of what to do, a surprising person walked into the meeting room. Uncle Da, why are you here? Big Bro Tang looked at Uncle Dab as he walked into the meeting room. Although Uncle Dab was Grandfather Tang's trusted aide, he would never participate in a family meeting like this one. He was just a servant, so he knew his place very well. This old servant deserves to die 1,000 times. It's all my fault. After Uncle Da entered the meeting room, he knelt in front of Elder Tang and said, "Ah." Uncle Da's sudden action stunned Grandfather Tang. They were just talking about Xiaoming's matter. Why was Uncle Da here to join in the fun? Could Rock Candy be Uncle Da's child? That was impossible. Uncle Da was just a servant and had no blood relations with the Tang family. Not to mention now, even if there were a few generations back, the chances of this happening were almost zero. What did he do wrong? So, Elder Tang furrowed his brows and said, "Old Da, what kind of show are you putting on? What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? We are currently discussing serious matters. If you made a mistake, can we talk about it later?" "Old Master, please let this old servant finish," Uncle Da said. What this old servant wants to talk about is the incident where third young master abused his daughter. What? You know? Hurry up and tell me. Elder Tang hurriedly asked when he heard the reason for Uncle Da's visit. Yes. Uncle Da said. Back then, eldest young mistress ordered a servant to throw away Tang Tang. This old servant couldn't bear to do so. No matter what, she was still eldest young master's flesh and blood. If she was thrown into the snow, how could she possibly survive? So this old servant thought of a way to protect this child. What do you mean? Explain it clearly. Elder Tang furrowed his brows. He felt that something was wrong. Yes. Back then, a member of the Tang family's side branch had also given birth to a daughter. They brought their daughter to the hidden Tang family to register her in the family tree. This old servant took this opportunity to swap Tang Tang with their child. The child that was thrown away was the daughter of the Tang family's side branch, not eldest young master's daughter, Tang Tang. Uncle Da continued. As for the real Tang Tang, she was probably brought back by the Tang family's side branch disciple and raised into an adult. Because newborn babies all look the same, they probably wouldn't have realized it was a mistake, so, what? After Elder Tang heard this, he nearly fainted. This meant that Rock Candy was the daughter of the Tang family's side branch disciple, and not eldest young Master Tang's blood. In this way, it made sense why Bingtong's DNA matched most of the members of the Tang family. It was because they were related by blood. But this caused the Tang family to suffer. Originally, he was overjoyed to reunite with Rock Candy. That way, the hidden Tang family would have a backer. But from the looks of it, it was all for naught. This really made Elder Tang sad. Ah, this means that Rock Candy isn't my daughter. Then my daughter. Xiaoming was shocked after hearing Uncle Da's words. Target equals, _blank. Chapter 1632. Translator. Sparrow Translations Editor. Sparrow Translations. There was one more thing she didn't say. The DNA test could only prove that the child was a member of the paternal family. As for whether or not it was the child's father's, no one knew. It could even be the child's uncles or grandfathers. But saying this was asking for a scolding. As long as the DNA test proved that the child was a member of the family, everything else would be left to the family. But she still reminded, for accuracy it's best to let the child's father do it himself. Sure. Do mine first. Do the DNA test. Elder Tang said as he nodded his head. This time the results came out very quickly. It was now confirmed that Bingtang and Elder Tang's DNA were very similar. In other words, Bingtang was from the hidden Tang family. Although there was still a possibility that she was a member of the maternal family, the paternal DNA test had also come out. There was no doubt that Bingtang was a member of the hidden Tang family. Tang Tang. It really is you. Xiaoming looked at the results and hugged Bingtang excitedly. But Bingtang's heart wasn't as excited as she had imagined. Instead, it was filled with bitterness. She didn't know how she was going to face this. She had acknowledged Xiaoming as her mother, but what about the hidden Tang family? Palace mistress. May I take the liberty to call you my granddaughter? Grandfather Tang grinned from ear to ear. Sure enough, the Ice Palace mistress was the granddaughter of the hidden Tang family. This was a piece of good news. I need some peace and quiet. Bing Tang waved her hand and walked out of the hospital. Seeing Bing Tang leave, little Qing sighed and said to Elder Tang and Xiaoming, "You guys go back to the inn and rest. Once the palace master has thought things through, she will come and find you." Because Bing Tang's attitude wasn't clear, little Qing didn't know how she was going to face the Tang family. So her tone towards Elder Tang and Xiaoming was very polite. Good. Elder Tang thought to himself. There was an 80% chance this time, right? Seeing little Qing's attitude, he knew that she treated the hidden Tang family differently. So Elder Tang didn't rush her. He returned to the inn with Tang Yuyu and Xiaoming and waited patiently for news from the Ice Palace. Rock Candy's heart was in a mess. She hadn't seen her parents for almost 20 years. Now they suddenly appeared in front of her. Should she recognize them or not? Judging from how Bing Tang treated the hidden Tang family, it was already good enough that she didn't cause trouble for them. However, when she thought of Xiaoming, Bing Tang's heart softened. Her mother was innocent. Everything was done by her black-hearted father. Hence, it was fine if they wanted to acknowledge each other. Bing Tang only wanted to acknowledge her mother. As for her relationship with the hidden Tang family, she could let it go on account of her mother. But as for the young mistress, she had to scram back to where she came from. Xiaoming would be the young mistress from now on. This was the only right that Bing Tang could fight for her mother. As the saying goes, even an upright official can't settle a family dispute. Although Bing Tang was angry, she couldn't do anything to the hidden Tang family with her mother in the middle, so she could only fight for some benefits for her mother. Of course, he believed that if he really did acknowledge her as his relative, that young mistress would have no choice but to scram even if he did not say anything. In terms of backing, no matter how powerful the hidden family behind her was, it was nothing in front of the Ice Palace. The hidden level and the ancient level were not on the same level at all. Bing Tang sighed faintly. "Aunt Qing, what should I do? Do I acknowledge her or not?" Now, although she still needed to do a DNA test with Boss Tang, all the signs indicated that Bing Tang was from the hidden Tang family. This was an indisputable fact. Palace Master, actually this isn't necessarily a bad thing. As long as Palace Master has the right attitude, it will be fine. Little Qing sighed and said, "It's true that the hidden Tang family gave birth to you, but the Ice Palace raised you, so you don't have to be conflicted. Acknowledging your relative is just acknowledging an identity, but this identity doesn't mean anything. From what I know, many ancient sects and ancient families have secretly supported some hidden families and small sects as their eyes and ears and spokespersons. Hence, developing the hidden Tang family into the eyes and ears of the Ice Palace isn't a bad idea. Also, I can see that your mother is a kind person. When the time comes, we can just bring her to the Ice Palace to live, and she won't have to suffer in the hidden Tang family." That's true. Bing Tang was suddenly enlightened after hearing little Qing's words. That's right, so what if she acknowledged her relative? It only represented an identity, and she didn't need to promise anything to the hidden Tang family. On the contrary, the hidden Tang family could become the eyes and ears of the Ice Palace. If she acknowledged her relative, the hidden Tang family wouldn't dare order her to do anything for them. This was just a way for them to show off to the outside world, so Bing Tang didn't mind. Isn't that it? Hee, it's always a good thing to have an extra pair of eyes and ears. Little Qing said. All right, then we'll acknowledge her. Get that. Boss Tang here for a DNA test. Bing Tang still couldn't bring herself to call him father. After all, what Boss Tang did back then was worse than an animal. All right, I'll talk to them. Little Qing nodded. This kind of small matter didn't require Bing Tang to make another trip. Little Qing could do it for her. Elder Tang didn't expect to receive news so quickly. Seeing Little Qing, he didn't dare to be negligent and said respectfully, "This Tang greets Elder Qing. May I ask Elder Qing about the Palace Master?" The Palace Master said to get young Master Tang here for a DNA test. If it's confirmed, then this marriage can be acknowledged, Little Qing said calmly. However, Elder Tang, don't think too much about it. Although the Ice Palace Master is part of the Hidden Tang family, she isn't someone that the Hidden Tang family can control. This Tang naturally understands. Elder Tang wasn't an idiot. How could the Ice Palace listen to the words of the hidden Tang family? His purpose here was only to acknowledge the Ice Palace. With this relationship, as long as the Ice Palace took care of the hidden Tang family, the hidden Tang family's meteoric rise was just around the corner. He wouldn't ask the Ice Palace to do anything, because that wasn't realistic. It was the behavior of a fool. It's good that you understand. It wasn't easy for Rock Candy to say these words, but it wasn't a problem for Little Qing to say it. Also, the Palace Lord said that she really doesn't like that young master. As for Xiaoming's identity, you know what to do, right? These words were said in front of Tang Yuyu, but Tang Yuyu didn't have any inappropriate expression. He was an honest man and looked down on his biological mother's actions. He felt that it was not the behavior of a good wife, but that it was harming his father. Chapter 1629. Going out together. On the other hand, he admired Third Concubine's character very much. Thus, he had played with Third Concubine since he was young. His relationship with Third Concubine was even deeper than that of his biological mother. So without waiting for Elder Tang to express his opinion, Tang Yu spoke first. No matter what, no matter how bad that woman is, she is still my mother. Elder Qing, do you think it's possible for her to switch places with Third Aunt? I've been close to Third Inyang since I was young, and I've always treated her like a mother. Third Inyang can prove this. Although Tang Yuyu's words were clear, he was actually telling Little Qing that his mother and Xiaoming's positions had been swapped. Since his residence had changed, his identity had naturally changed as well. It was just that he wasn't ruthless. I can prove this. I've brought Yuyu along to play since he was young. He has always been very fond and respectful of me. Xiaoming hurriedly added. Sure. Little Qing nodded her head. Then it's decided. When Boss Tang arrives, you can ask Xiao Li, who is also Manager Li, to contact me. This. Elder Qing, it will be this Tang's 80th birthday soon. Everyone in the Tang family will be attending, including my cousin's branch family. So, do you think the Palace Lord can also attend as a member of the Tang family? Elder Tang asked carefully. If that's the case, it won't be too late to do a DNA test when we get there. I can't make this decision. I'll ask the Palace Master first before giving you an answer. Little Qing didn't express her opinion. She just took note of it. Okay. Elder Tang nodded his head happily. Elder Qing, thank you. Little Qing waved her hand. Without saying a word, she turned around and left Elder Tang's room. Then, she floated away. After hearing Little Qing's words, Bing Tang hesitated for a moment before agreeing to Elder Tang's request. Firstly, she wanted to see the place where she was born. Secondly, she wanted to use this opportunity to go out and experience the world. It could be said that Bing Tang had spent the past 20 years in the Ice Palace and had never left it. News from the outside world came from the outer sect. She had never seen the outside world. So Elder Tang's suggestion moved her. It wasn't because she wanted to give Elder Tang face, but because she wanted to go out and experience the world. Okay, I'll go. Bing Tang nodded her head. Go and reply to him. Since it's his 80th birthday, his family members can attend. If he wants to use this opportunity to show off his power and invite people from other families, I won't make an appearance. How smart was Bing Tang? How could she not know what Elder Tang was thinking? It was better for her to keep a low profile when it came to attending the birthday banquet. If the Ice Palace wanted the hidden Tang family to work for them, they needed to control the situation well. They couldn't let the hidden Tang family get overconfident and use the Ice Palace's name to do bad things. I understand, Palace Master. Qing nodded. I'll go see my little junior sister. Bring her along this time. She's new here, and she's not used to it. I'm afraid she'll get sick. Bing Tang said. It was obvious that she cared a lot about Xiao Xiao. Okay, all right. I'll go talk to the hidden Tang family right now. Qing nodded and went back. Bing Tang, on the other hand, flew towards the peak of the mountain with the most energy. Xiao Xiao hadn't slacked off ever since she entered the Ice Palace. Other than eating and sleeping, she was here every day. She was one of the most hard-working people in the Ice Palace, but everyone understood the heavy responsibility on her shoulders. She was an inheritor, a very important person. She had to exist to open Sky Class Island. Senior sister? Xiao Xiao stopped and raised her head to see Crystal Candy standing not far from her. She paused. Why are you here? With Xiao Xiao's current strength, naturally, she couldn't sense Bing Tang's arrival. Xiao Xiao, are you used to the ice palace? Bing Tang sat beside Xiao Xiao, not putting on any airs like a palace master should. It's all right. Xiao Xiao wasn't too happy that she couldn't see Linny anymore. But thinking that this short separation was for the sake of a long life together, she got over it. I'm going out in a few days. Do you want to come with me? Bing Tang asked. Going out? To where? Can I go see Linny, honey? Xiao Xiao asked excitedly. Bing Tang couldn't help but smile bitterly. This Xiao Xiao was acting like she didn't care before, but now she was excited after hearing that she could go out. But Bing Tang didn't want her to go see Lin Yi. To be honest, Bing Tang really didn't think much of Lin Yi's strength. He was known as the strongest under Earth class, but she wouldn't even look at him if he was the strongest under Sky class, let alone Earth class. Xiao Xiao would become an inheritor in the future, and she would have the chance to step into Sky Dao and reach that legendary level. At that time, Lin Yi's strength would be laughably weak in her eyes. Would she still be so attached to Lin Yi? But according to Bing Tang's observations, it seemed like it was possible. The relationship between these two couldn't be measured by strength. Lin Yi was a mystic, but he joined the trial for Xiao Xiao, who had no strength at all, and he even offended people stronger than him. This proved this point. The two places are quite far from each other. I don't know if it's okay. If we have time, we can meet. Bing Tang didn't reject her junior sister's request. She was strict with others in the Ice Palace, but she couldn't be strict with this weird junior sister. Whether you were strict or not, the way she talked to you didn't change at all. Even when Rock Candy was with her, she unconsciously became a little neurotic. Sure. Xiao Xiao was very happy. I'm a golden class now. Linny Honey will be very happy when he sees this. Xiao Xiao's speed wasn't slow at all. In less than a month, she had become a golden class. This kind of speed could only be achieved in the heritage grounds with a special constitution and a special practitioner's arts. Bing Tang was speechless. The next day, Bing Tang, Xiao Xiao, and Qing left on their journey. With them was Elder Tang, Tang Yuyu, and Qing from the hidden house. At the same time, the hidden Tang family had finally received confirmation from Grandfather Tang and found out the purpose of his visit. Before, Elder Tang hadn't confirmed Bing Tang's identity, so naturally, he wouldn't say anything. If Tang Yuyu really did get the wrong person, then things would get out of hand. Not only would Hidden House Tang be a joke, but the Ice Palace might even blame them. Chapter 1630. Very confused, but now, Bing Tang's identity was basically set in stone. Naturally, he would tell his family. Hidden in the Tang family, eldest Tang looked at his legal wife, Yu Xiaoxin, with a dark expression. He slapped her face and trembled in anger. You wastrel, you threw away Xiaoming's child back then. Look at you now, she's the Ice Palace's palace master. When she comes back, you'll be waiting for death. It's not just you, even your hidden house Yuxiixin will be finished. Yuxiixin covered her swollen face, not daring to say anything. She was arrogant, but that was because she had the backing of Hidden House Yuxiixin. But now, Hidden House Yuxiixin wasn't like an ant in the eyes of the Ice Palace. It was the difference between a tiger and a cat. So Yuxiixin didn't dare to say anything. She really regretted it a little. She should have drowned the child and not thrown him away. She didn't expect that the child didn't die, and even became the sect master of the Ice Palace. One could say that she didn't regret it even now. This woman was hopeless. You're the death of me. When the time comes, you can beg for mercy on your knees. Don't drag me down with you. Big Tang's first time acting tough in front of his wife. Now he was in trouble. Even if Bing Tang came back, Elder Tang would be fine, and Xiaoming would be fine. The ones who would be in trouble would be him and Yuxiixin. Yuxiixin lowered her head and didn't say anything. She was also very afraid, but being afraid was useless. At this time, she could only think of a way to escape. I'll move into Xiaoming's room today and give this place to her, okay? I hope it won't affect our hidden house Yuxiixin. Yuxiixin said carefully. Then get lost. Big Tang's brother roared. Of course, In the entire hidden house Wuxia, other than Big Tang's branch, the remaining brothers were very happy. They didn't participate in what happened back then. So if Big Tang fell this time, they would have a chance to take over. However, unexpectedly, after Big Tang came to live in the hidden house Wuxia, she didn't start a massacre. As for Wuxia, who had already moved into Xiaoming's cold courtyard, Big Tang didn't bother with her either. It was as if she had ignored her. This made Big Tang heave a sigh of relief. Since Big Tang could forgive Wuxia, she could definitely forgive Big Tang too. Tang, how is it? Are you used to this room? That night, Big Tang, accompanied by Elder Tang, came to Big Tang's room, wanting to get close to her. Big Tang frowned slightly. We haven't done the DNA test yet. I don't want to see you. Big Tang was a little awkward. Haha, we're going to do the test tomorrow. Why don't you understand, you old man? I told you to get lost, didn't you hear me? After finding out about Big Tang's background, Xiao Xiao hated Boss Tang to the core. She was a person who dared to love and hate, and she wanted nothing more than to kick a heartless man like him to death. Big Tang didn't know Xiao Xiao's identity, but he heard that Qing was Big Tang's aunt, an elder of the Ice Palace who raised Big Tang. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was only golden class, and she didn't know how to hide. One look and he knew that she was just a normal maid. Big Tang didn't dare say anything when Big Tang and Qing scolded him. But being scolded by a maid like this, Big Tang's face was a little embarrassed. He was the head of the hidden Tang house, an Earth-class late-phase peak master. Being told to scram by a golden-class early-phase girl made his face turn ugly. I say, little girl, I'm the father of your palace master. Don't you think it's a bit rude for you to say something like that? She's my junior sister, the next Ice Palace master, Big Tang said faintly. Is there a problem with talking to you like that? Tang Big Bro was stunned. After listening to Rock Candy's words, he nearly choked to death. Junior sister? The next Ice Palace master? Why was she only golden class? What was going on? Of course, if what Big Tang said was true, then even if Xiao Xiao, the next sect master of Ice Palace, beat him up as a golden class, Boss Tang wouldn't dare fight back. As if noticing Big Tang's doubt, Qing explained, Xiao Xiao entered the Ice Palace less than a month ago, and she was just a normal person before. But the palace master has already decided that she will be the next palace master. She'll become a sky class soon. Cough. Big Tang was even more shocked. From a normal person to a golden class in less than a month. What kind of speed was that? So fast. She really was the next palace master. Big Tang said awkwardly. I'm sorry, young master, I didn't know. Humph. Xiao Xiao humphed and ignored him. Go ahead, Head Tang. Qing said faintly, gesturing for them to leave. The results of the DNA test were out of everyone's expectations. What was supposed to be a sure thing turned out to be a dramatic change. Big Tang's DNA was similar to Big Tang's, but it wasn't at the father-daughter level. It was very similar to Elder Tang's and Big Tang's results. In other words, Big Tang was a member of House Tang, but not Big Tang's daughter. After hearing this news, Big Tang's face turned green. He really wanted to scold Xiaoming. She actually hooked up with another man in House Tang, and he felt guilty all this time. If he knew that Big Tang was a bastard, he wouldn't have needed to do anything and would have killed her. But now, even if he hated her, he couldn't express it. It didn't matter whether he was Big Tang's father or not. To Big Tang, he was just a passerby. If he dared to do anything to Xiaoming, Big Tang would probably kill him with one slap. So no matter how much he hated her, he didn't dare to say anything. After Elder Tang received the results of the test, he seemed to have aged a few years. He shouted, Misfortune, misfortune. How could something like this happen? Normally, when such a scandal happened in a family, the first thing they should do was to find the child's mother, Xiaoming, and ask her who the father was. But no one in the hidden Tang family dared to do so, because Big Tang was standing behind Xiaoming. As long as Big Tang didn't agree, no one could force Xiaoming to do anything. Big Tang looked at the test report expressionlessly. Actually, to Big Tang, it was enough that the mother was confirmed. As for who the father was, it didn't matter. Chapter 1632. Helpless result in the Tang family. Other than Tang Yiyu, Big Tang didn't like anyone else. Although this seemed like a family scandal, Abandoning Bingtang back then was already a huge family scandal. This kind of small matter wasn't much. And Bingtang didn't even have the intention to ask Xiaoming. Since that was the case, it was even better. As for the hidden Tang family's attitude, it was easier for Bingtang to handle it. She treated the hidden Tang family as a family member. Without the restriction of familial ties, Bingtang felt much better. Just like the secular House Yu and the hidden House Yu, Bingtang's relationship with the hidden Tang family was the same. Since she couldn't ask Bingtang, she could only ask her own family members. In the hidden Tang family's conference room, Old Man Tang sat on the main seat with a fierce expression. He looked at all the members of the hidden Tang family and slammed the table heavily. Speak. Who did it back then? If you speak now, I won't pursue the matter, nor can I. With Ice Palace Master Bingtang's status, this matter can only be treated as a family scandal. But if I find out who did it, don't blame me for being impolite. After many years of accumulated power, Old Man Tang's words carried enormous weight in the Tang family. So after Old Man Tang finished speaking, everyone in the Tang family was very careful. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Not speaking? None of you want to speak. Old Man Tang waited for a long time. Seeing that no one spoke, he slammed the table and sneered. All right, since no one wants to speak, then everyone can go and do a DNA test for me. I want to see who did it. Of course, after Old Man Tang finished speaking, no one spoke. They all lowered their heads in silence. They all had their own thoughts. Fine. Since that's the case, you, call the doctor over and do a DNA test for everyone. Old Man Tang said angrily. Yes, grandfather. Tang Yu smiled bitterly. He had never imagined a situation like this. He never imagined that his third auntie would have Bingtang's child. But he couldn't simply speak about this matter. All he could do was follow his grandfather's instructions and call the doctor over to do a DNA test for every member of the Tang family in the conference room. After the doctor arrived, Old Man Tang observed every member of the Tang family in the conference room. He realized that every member of the Tang family was calm and collected. It was as if this matter had nothing to do with them. They didn't show any signs of guilt. This made Old Man Tang a little confused. What was going on? Could it be that Bingtang wasn't their child? The results of the DNA test were quickly released. Just as Old Man Tang had guessed, Bingtang was related to them by blood. But she wasn't related by birth. None of these people were Bingtang's father. Old Man Tang had no other choice but to pass this information to Xiaoming. Although he didn't say it explicitly, he hoped that she would tell him what happened in the past. But Xiaoming felt wronged. Back then, she had only had a relationship with eldest brother Tang. After that, she had Bingtang. She had never had any contact with other men, so it was impossible for her to have an illicit relationship with another man. Although the Tang family didn't say anything, the way they looked at Xiaoming was a little strange. When Xiaoming arrived at the conference room, she felt her face burning. She really didn't want to come, but she had no choice. This matter was related to her innocence, so Xiaoming had to explain herself. But how was she going to explain herself? How was Xiaoming going to prove herself? Just as Xiaoming was at a loss of what to do, someone walked into the conference room that surprised everyone. Uncle Da, why are you here? Big Bro Tang looked at Uncle Dab as he walked into the meeting room. Although Uncle Dab was Grandfather Tang's trusted aide, he would never participate in a family meeting like this one. He was just a servant, so he knew his place very well. This old servant deserves to die 1,000 times. It's all my fault. Uncle Da knelt in front of Elder Tang as he walked into the conference room. Ah! Uncle Da's sudden action stunned Grandfather Tang. They were just talking about Xiaoming's matter. Why was Uncle Da here to join in the fun? Could it be that Bingtang was Uncle Da's child? That was impossible. Uncle Da was just a servant and had no blood relations with the Tang family. Not to mention now, even if there were a few generations of them, the chances of this happening were almost zero. What did he do wrong? So Elder Tang furrowed his brows and said, Old Da, what are you trying to do? What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? We are currently discussing serious matters. If you made a mistake, can we talk about it later? Old Master, please let this old servant finish, Uncle Da said. This old servant wants to talk about how third young master molested his daughter back then. What? You know? Hurry up and tell me. Elder Tang asked as soon as he heard the reason for Uncle Da's visit. Yes. Uncle Da said. Back then, eldest young mistress ordered a servant to throw away Tang Tang. This old servant couldn't bear to do so. No matter what, she was still eldest young master's flesh and blood. If she was thrown into the snow, how could she possibly survive? So this old servant thought of a way to protect the child. What do you mean? Explain it clearly. Elder Tang furrowed his brows. He felt that something was wrong. Yes. Back then, a member of the Tang family's side branch had also given birth to a daughter. They brought their daughter to the Tang family to register her in the family tree. This old servant took this opportunity to swap Tang Tang with their child. The child that was thrown away was the daughter of the Tang family's side branch, not eldest young master's daughter, Tang Tang. Uncle Da continued. As for the real Tang Tang, she must have been brought back to be raised by the Tang family's side branch. Because newborn babies all look the same, they shouldn't have realized it was a mistake, so. What? After Elder Tang heard this, he nearly fainted. This meant that Rock Candy was the daughter of the Tang family's side branch, and not eldest young Master Tang's bloodline. In this way, it made sense why Bingtong's DNA matched most of the members of the Tang family. It was because they were related by blood. But this caused the Tang family to suffer. Originally, he was overjoyed to bring Rock Candy back. This way the Tang family would have a backer. But from the looks of it, it was all for naught. This really made Elder Tang sad. Ah. This means that Rock Candy isn't my daughter. Then my daughter. After hearing Uncle Da's words, Xiaoming was shocked. Target =_blank. Chapter 1633. Old events. Rock Candy should be the daughter of the Tang family's side branch disciple, and the young master's daughter should be in that side branch disciple's house. Uncle Da said. This. What should we do now? Elder Tang suddenly felt a headache coming on. Did the cooked duck just fly away? The hidden Tang family's backing was gone? Wasn't this a little too unlucky? Why did this turn into something out of a TV drama? Elder Tang's expression softened quite a bit. At least he wasn't cuckolded. However, the next problem was even more troublesome. Rock Candy's parents weren't in the hidden Tang family. Uncle Da, are you serious? Grandfather Tang asked sternly as he looked at Uncle Da Bo. This was no laughing matter. If they were not careful, the hidden Tang family would be consigned to eternal damnation. Patriarch, how could this old servant dare to lie to you about such an important matter? Uncle Da smiled bitterly. It's all this old servant's fault. Patriarch, please punish this old servant. There's no need to punish her. If you hadn't changed her, Ice Palace Master wouldn't have been a part of the hidden Tang family, and this opportunity wouldn't have fallen into our hands. Elder Tang was an understanding person. This matter didn't have much to do with Uncle Da. Even if Uncle Da didn't do anything, at most, his child would have died, and Rock Candy would still be the daughter of the side branch of the Tang family. Yes, Uncle Da, this isn't your fault. The most important thing right now is to think of a solution. What should we do? We've already invited Ice Palace Master here. We can't just tell her that you're not a part of the hidden Tang family, right? Elder Tang frowned. Who said I'm not? Even if she's a side branch disciple, she's still a part of the hidden Tang family. Elder Tang finally found a connection. How could he give it up so easily? Grandfather Tang's words enlightened the others present. That's right, Rock Candy's body contained the hidden Tang family bloodline. This was an indisputable fact. Father, you're right. I think we should conceal this matter, and let Bingtang think that she is Xiaoming's daughter. As for who her father is, we can just make up a story and let Xiaoming cooperate. Eldest Tang pondered for a moment and said, Second brother, let's say that she is your and Xiaoming's child, right? Second brother's expression changed slightly. However, as this matter concerned the Tang family, it was not appropriate for him to express his opinion. Instead, he looked towards Elder Tang. That's right, we must leak the news. Otherwise, without Xiaoming, why would Bingtang recognize us as the hidden Tang family? Elder Tang said. So, we must never let Bingtang know about this. Otherwise, wouldn't our efforts to hide the Tang family be in vain? Grandpa, this is a big deal. I think that if we talk to the sect master properly, She will understand. How can we lie to her? However, Tang Yu put forward a different opinion. You also said that Palace Mistress Bingtang is also the bloodline of our hidden Tang family. She will more or less help us. If we lie to her and she finds out the truth, won't she die of anger? Yi, what do you know? Eldest brother Tang was a little annoyed as he looked at his son. How could his son be so loyal? It was not like his personality at all. Even though he was intelligent and capable, he was too kind. How could he inherit the position of the family head like this? Tang Yuyu's face turned red from eldest brother Tang's scolding. However, he knew that his words carried little weight. His words had no effect, so he could only shut his mouth resentfully. As for Xiaoming, she was in a daze. If Bingtang wasn't her daughter, then where was her daughter? Furthermore, why was Bingtang related to her by blood? This series of questions caused Xiaoming's mood to drop. In this family meeting, she had no say in it. Listening to everyone speak, they were all concerned about the benefits of the hidden Tang family. As for the whereabouts of her child, none of them had even asked. Alright, it's decided. Everyone in the hidden Tang family, listen up. Do not reveal a single word to anyone. Elder Tang said sternly. From now on, Bingtang will be second brother and Xiaoming's daughter. Clang! A loud sound rang out. Just as Elder Tang finished speaking, the door to the conference room was kicked open, turning into a pile of sawdust that fell to the ground. Rock Candy was currently standing at the entrance of the conference room with a cold expression. She looked at Elder Tang coldly. Who can you not reveal this to? Seeing Bingtang's cold gaze, Elder Tang broke out in a cold sweat. Even though he was a heaven-rank early-stage expert, he didn't dare to act rashly in front of a heaven-rank late-stage expert like Bingtang. He didn't expect that his words would be heard by Bingtang. At this moment, he remembered that Bingtang was an expert at the peak of heaven-rank late stage. With her divine sense, it was too easy for her to eavesdrop on the contents of the Tang family's meeting. And with Elder Tang's strength, he wouldn't be able to sense that someone was eavesdropping. Previously, when Elder Tang held the family meeting, he didn't consider this factor. That was why he neglected Bingtang's existence. On account of Auntie Xiaoming, I won't kill you. Bingtang looked at Elder Tang coldly. As for the hidden Tang family, I know what you guys are planning. You just want to borrow the power of the Ice Palace, right? Very well, I'll satisfy you. Auntie Qing, tell them. Even though Bingtang looked cold, she wasn't really angry. Especially when she heard that she wasn't Boss Tang's daughter, and that she wasn't abandoned by her parents. Instead, she was swapped without her parents knowing. As a result, the knot in Bingtang's heart of hatred towards her parents was instantly resolved. Speaking of which, Bingtang really had to thank Uncle Da for telling her the truth. Otherwise, even though Xiaoming was a kind person, she wouldn't be happy for the rest of her life if she had a father who was worse than a wolf and a dog. But now everything was fine. All that was left of her with the hidden Tang family was that little bit of blood relation. Bingtang could calm down and let little Qing speak openly with the hidden Tang family. She wouldn't have to feel burdened to have the hidden Tang family become the eyes and ears of the Ice Palace. However, there was still one question that Bingtang hadn't answered. Why was her DNA so similar to Xiaoming's? She was born from a side branch of the Tang family. It was normal for her to have the Tang family's blood in her body, but she also had Xiaoming's blood. That was a little strange. Target =_blank. Chapter 1634. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Furthermore, Xiaoming indeed looked very similar to him. What was the reason for this? Could it be? She suddenly thought of a possibility. Xiaoming said before that she was chosen by Boss Tang when she accompanied her brother-in-law and sister to the Tang family to register. Then, could her real parents be Xiaoming's sister and brother-in-law? In that case, wouldn't Xiaoming be his aunt? The more she thought about it, the more likely it was. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence in this world? At this time, little Qing was already discussing with Elder Tang about letting them be the eyes and ears of the Ice Palace. Although the outcome was a little different from what Elder Tang had expected, it was still a good thing. The fact that Bingtang didn't start a massacre or leave was already a blessing in disguise. What else could the Tang family ask for? In fact, the Hidden Tang family also knew that the Ice Palace just wanted to find a spy, and the Hidden Tang family just happened to be there. If they really said that they were related to Bingtang, it would be too ridiculous. They were just collateral relatives. The Hidden Tang family had many branches, and they didn't really like collateral relatives. Who are my biological parents? After Little Qing and Elder Tang finished talking, Bingtang looked at Uncle Dabo and asked coldly. Uncle Dabo trembled in fear and didn't dare to hide anything. He said in a trembling voice, "They are from the Tang family. The man is called Tang Juqing, but I can't remember his wife's name. You have to check the family records." What? Tang Juqing? Before Bingtang could say anything, Xiaoming exclaimed, "What's wrong?" Everyone turned to look at Xiaoming, and Rock Candy also asked in confusion, "Xiaoming, auntie, you know this Tang Juqing, who is also my father? He is my brother-in-law. Of course I know him. So you are my niece." Xiaoming exclaimed. No wonder Bingtang looked so similar to her. She was actually Bingtang's aunt. And her own child was actually brought back by her sister and brother-in-law to be raised. Thinking of this, Xiaoming relaxed. Her child was with her sister and brother-in-law, so nothing should happen to him. Although her sister's family wasn't rich, they could still live. Thinking of her brother-in-law, Xiaoming felt extremely guilty. It was reasonable to say that marrying into the Hidden Tang family should have brought a lot of benefits to her sister's family. However, not only did she not bring anything, her own life was also miserable. For so many years, he hadn't contacted his sister and brother-in-law. He didn't know if they were doing well. Just like the old saying goes, once you enter a wealthy family, you're as deep as the sea. It's hard for me to even contact the outside world. Hearing Xiaoming's words, Bingtang was also shocked. Although she had this feeling in her heart, she was still very surprised when the truth came out. However, she already had a good impression of Xiaoming. Thus she gently called out, "Auntie." Sigh. Although Xiaoming hadn't seen her own child yet, she was very happy when she thought that Bingtang was her niece. She replied happily. Old Tang wanted to join in the fun and use his identity as an uncle to get close to Bingtang, but seeing that Bingtang didn't even care about him, he couldn't help but feel awkward. In your Hidden Tang family, only my auntie and this cousin Tang Yu are considered human, right? Bingtang said faintly. The others are like pigs and dogs. Although Rock Candy's words made the Tang family furious, they didn't dare to say a single word. Elder Tang had a bitter expression on his face as he thought to himself. Luckily, Tang Yu had put in a good word for Xiaoming and Rock Candy. Otherwise, Rock Candy would probably have already left. Tang Yu was a little embarrassed as well. Hearing Bingtang call him cousin, he was surprised and happy, but also a little awkward. He didn't know how to respond, and could only stand there awkwardly rubbing his hands, careful. How can they be like pigs and dogs? Pork can be eaten, but they can't. Xiao Xiao interrupted. I think they're worse than pigs and dogs. Pfft. Qing almost burst out laughing at Xiao Xiao's words. Xiao Xiao's words were too funny in a situation like this. The Hidden Tang family was furious as well, but they didn't dare do anything to Xiao Xiao, the future sect master of Ice Palace. She might be weak, but she was Bingtang's junior. Auntie, come to my room and talk to me. Bingtang held Xiaoming's hand, not giving any face to the other Tang family members. Xiaoming hesitated, but left the meeting room with Bingtang. Old Tang and the others could only sigh as they sent them off. In the sect master's room, Bingtang held Xiaoming's hand intimately. She wasn't her birth mother, but she was her auntie, someone very close to her. She'd lacked family since she was young, so naturally, she was very happy at this moment. Sect Master Bing, what do you think of the Hidden Tang family? Xiaoming asked carefully. Auntie, just call me Bingtang. What's Sect Master Bing? That's what outsiders call me. You don't have to be so polite with me. Bingtang said quickly. Ah. Then. Alright then. Xiaoming felt close to Bingtang from the bottom of her heart. She'd been like this since the first time she saw her, so she nodded. I don't want to do anything to the Hidden Tang family. Here I only recognize you, auntie. At most, that Tang Yu can be considered my cousin. As for the others, they're just vassals of the Ice Palace. Bingtang said faintly. Don't worry, auntie. I won't do anything to them. It's just a partnership. Then. Your birth parents, do you want to go and meet them? Xiaoming actually missed her sister and brother-in-law quite a bit. It had been so many years, and she didn't know how they were now. More importantly, she missed her own child. Meet them. Bingtang sighed. She'd been thinking about this for a long time. Should she meet them or not? If she did, then what about her auntie's daughter? Was she supposed to return to the hidden Tang family? To be honest, Bingtang didn't want her auntie's daughter to be here. Here, she'd rather be the daughter of a normal family. Also, Bingtang didn't want to destroy that family. If Bingtang's parents found out that their child wasn't raised by them, but by someone else, then this peaceful family would be destroyed. That wouldn't be fair to that child. Target = blank. Chapter 1635. Invitation letter. Hence, after a long silence, Bingtang said, "Actually, I want to acknowledge them, but I also don't want to acknowledge them. That family is very happy now, but what will happen if Auntie and I interfere? Will my sister return to your side? She's different from me." Xiaoming was stunned, but she instantly understood what Bingtang meant. That's right, her biological daughter was different from Bingtang. Bingtang didn't have parents since she was young, so she would be happier if she acknowledged her biological daughter. But her biological daughter had always treated her sister and brother-in-law as her biological parents. If she had to leave her sister and brother-in-law and come to her side, would she be willing? Even if she was willing, would her sister and brother-in-law be willing? Although they weren't biological, they had already been at fault for so many years. Humans weren't plants, so how could they be emotionless? Even if they weren't biological, they were already closer than biological. Thinking of this, Xiaoming fell silent. That's right, I was thinking too simply. I still wanted her to return to my side, but it seems like she's definitely not willing. Auntie, let's not think too much about this. Let's respect their opinion. I just want to see my biological parents and show my filial piety. With my identity, I won't be able to return to their side. Bingtang said. As for you, acknowledging your daughter is fine, but don't force it. That way no one will be happy. I understand. Xiaoming nodded. I just want to see her every once in a while, and know that she's doing well. That's enough. As for the rest, I won't force it. At the same time, in the Tang family's conference room, Elder Tang and the rest of the Tang family were discussing Tang Juqing. Since Tang Juqing is the Ice Palace Master's biological father, why don't we invite them to Father's 80th birthday celebration? Elder Tang said. This way we can please the Ice Palace Master too. As for whether she acknowledges us, we won't interfere. We've already done what we can. That's a good idea. Elder Tang nodded in agreement. Second brother, do you have anything to say? Father, since the Ice Palace Lord isn't Xiaoming's daughter, then Tang Juqing's daughter must be Big Brother's flesh and blood. Should we let her return to the Tang family? Second brother Tang's words were, in fact, intended to disgust eldest brother Tang. You've been jumping up and down these past few days, preparing to recognize the daughter of the Palace Lord. Now all your efforts have been in vain. But you haven't lost your daughter. Now that you've found her, aren't you going to recognize her? Grandfather Tang furrowed his brows. He understood the hidden meaning behind second brother Tang's words, but he did not say anything. Instead, he turned to look at eldest brother Tang. Acknowledge her? Why would he acknowledge her? Absolutely not. Eldest brother Tang immediately shook his head in denial. Now that he had lost his backing, and the Ice Palace Master obviously didn't want him anymore, he still had to rely on the support of his right Xiaoxin's family. How could he just casually recognize another daughter? What's more, she's just the daughter of an ordinary poor person. What's the use of recognizing her? Dad, she's also my sister. Why can't we acknowledge her? If you're afraid that my mother won't be happy, I'll talk to her. Tang Yu didn't think it was a bad thing to have another sister. No. Absolutely not. Eldest brother Tang was hit in the soft spot by his son. He flew into a rage. What's the point of acknowledging a poor girl? You shut up. Second brother Tang, on the other hand, was laughing at the joke. Acknowledging her is fine, but we don't have to bring her back. Grandfather Tang spoke. After all, she's the Ice Palace Master's sister. We have to put on an act. But if we forcefully bring her back to the Tang family, Wouldn't we be destroying her family's current happiness? Father's words make sense. Eldest brother Tang was overjoyed when he heard that his father had helped him out of this predicament. Furthermore, he had given a very good idea. The older the ginger, the spicier. In an instant, it was not that the Tang family didn't want to acknowledge her, but that they didn't want to destroy her family. Thinking about it, Grandfather Tang had also realized that their relationship with the Ice Palace had become a subordinate relationship. This meant that they couldn't lose the support of the Hidden Yu family. So at this time, they couldn't bring that girl back home. Just like that, the matter was settled. The Hidden Elder Tang's 80th birthday banquet had invited all the collateral descendants of the Tang family to attend. Naturally, Tang Juqing received an invitation as well. Tang Juqing was confused by the sudden invitation from the Hidden Tang family, which he had never had much contact with. Mrs. Tang, on the other hand, was also very confused. Juqing, why did the Tang family suddenly invite us to the birthday banquet? Mrs. Tang looked at the invitation in her hand strangely. Could it be that they know that I found a rich son-in-law and want to rope us in? Otherwise, it's unbelievable that a family that hasn't been in contact with us for 800 years would come looking for us. That can't be right. The Tang family has a lot of assets. Why would they be interested in Lin Yi's assets? Tang Juqing frowned. He also found it strange. Besides, how did they find out? Who knows? But I say, Tang Juqing, you're really stupid. Lin Yi's assets? Do you know how many assets Lin Yi has and how capable he is? Mrs. Tang pouted. You know Fatty Lai, right? He's the CEO of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. He's Lin Yi's underling. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company is Lin Yi's assets. Plus, Pingzhan Industries seems to have Lin Yi's shares too. You know those noble houses, right? The Lu family, the Wu family, they all ran to be Lin Yi's underlings. He's so popular, the Tang family definitely wants to rope him in. Ah, I see. How would Tang Juqing know so much? Mrs. Tang, on the other hand, was a very gossipy person. She was a smart person, and knew how to get information out of her daughter. She knew quite a bit about Lin Yi's situation even though she wasn't sure about it. That's right, Mrs. Tang said. So this time we must go, and we have to go in style. Back then, when your leg was broken, I wrote a letter to my sister, wanting to borrow some money, but there wasn't even a reply. She must have climbed up a high branch and ignored us. This time, I'll let them see how awesome my son-in-law is. We're returning home in glory and showing off. Tang Juqing was speechless. Xiaoming has her own difficulties too. She's just a concubine in the Tang family. What right does she have to speak? If not, she wouldn't have not contacted us for so long. I think there's no way to contact us. Humph. Don't speak up for her. Who knows what's going on? I'm going to blind those snobs in the Tang family this time. Mrs. Tang sneered. Chapter 1636. Chapter 1635. Zhao Qikuan's phone call misses. Tang had always been in charge of Tang Yun's family matters, and so this was settled. Tang Yun heard about it from her mother when she got home, and she was a bit dumbfounded. She didn't think that she was part of a big family too. Hidden House Tang? Who were they? Were they as strong as the Hidden House Yu that Lin Yi talked about? After hearing her mother's analysis, Tang Yun didn't know if she should be happy or worried. She'd always felt inferior in front of Lin Yi, not being able to help Lin Yi with anything, and always causing trouble for Lin Yi. The Miss and Shu, on the other hand, both had powerful backgrounds, and even Xiao Xiao went to the Ice Palace to train. They'd definitely be able to help Lin Yi in the future. But she was the only one who came from a poor background, and she couldn't help Lin Yi with anything. Now that she knew that she was part of a hidden house, Tang Yun wondered if she could help Lin Yi at all. But on second thought, the Hidden Tang family hadn't contacted his family for so many years, so how could he borrow their light? Plus, her mother's analysis made sense. Did they see Lin Yi's strength and wanted to rope him in? Would she cause trouble for Lin Yi if she went? Plus, Lin Yi's strength hadn't recovered yet, and Tang Yun knew that as well. She shouldn't just agree to something like this. Mom, I'll discuss this with Lin Yi first. Tang Yun didn't agree right away. But I think it's best if we don't go. You kid, it's so rare to have a chance to show off in front of House Tang. How can you not go? Mrs. Tang wasn't very happy. When she got married and Tang Yin was born, the Tangs didn't even look her in the eye when they registered her name in the family tree. Mrs. Tang couldn't take it to heart. So, now that she had the ability, she had to go show off. Mom, you don't understand. The hidden house Tang's power is huge. It's not as simple as you think. They are cultivators. Do you understand what a cultivator is? We are just ordinary people. We have nothing to do with them. Tang Yin frowned and explained. If we go, what if we cause trouble for Lin Yi? What cultivator? Mrs. Tang had no idea. I've heard a little about this, but I'm not too sure. I heard that it's just like practicing martial arts. The Tang family is indeed a big family in the martial arts world. Yin Yin is right. We have to consider this matter carefully. Don't cause trouble for Lin Yi. Tang Juqing nodded in agreement. You two. Mrs. Tang was a little unhappy. Yunner, then go ask Lin Yi and see if he agrees. It would be best if he could accompany us. I'm not going, he's busy. Tang Yin knew Lin Yi's situation. How could she disturb him at this time? He's living in the house of two little vixens, but you're not worried. I say, why are you so dumb? You don't even know what's going on. If they take away Lin Yi, you can go cry. Mrs. Tang humphed. Are you going or not? Yao Yao and Shu aren't vixens, they're my sisters. Mom, don't talk about them like that. Besides, Lin Yi won't be taken away. I know about my situation. Tang Yin frowned and shook her head. I say, are you going to fight or not? Mrs. Tang said. If you don't fight, then I will. I'll go. I'll go. Tang Yin stomped her feet and pushed the door open. This child, she has such a good background, but she's not going to pretend. I don't know what she's thinking. Mrs. Tang complained unhappily. One couldn't blame Mrs. Tang for being too snobbish. House Tang was snobbish before, so Mrs. Tang wanted to vent her anger. Tang Yin left the house and went to Lin Yi's villa. She didn't want to disturb Lin Yi and just stayed there. She knew that Lin Yi was recovering his strength, so she didn't want to disturb Lin Yi. Naturally, Ming Yao and Yushu agreed to it. This was Lin Yi's 186th experiment. The number of exploding energy balls was countless, but it still didn't meet Lin Yi's requirements. Now Lin Yi was condensing 187 energy balls. Just a little bit more, and Lin Yi would be able to condense an energy ball that would allow him to break through to Earth class. But it was just a little bit, and Lin Yi had already tried more than 100 times. Luckily, Lin Yi was a patient man. If it were anyone else, they would have gone berserk already. Bang! The energy ball exploded at the last moment, and Lin Yi didn't have any temper at all. Lin Yi could only continue condensing. In the hidden house Zhao, the news of Lin Yi being poisoned by the 5-step dispersion, but Elder Zhao was still in isolation, and the only people in charge of the house were Elder Bai and Zhao Guangyin. This wasn't a secret. Zhao Qikuan naturally knew about it. He was worried for Lin Yi. He knew that Lin Yi could recover his strength quickly, but he knew that the 5-step dispersion, it was very strong. Even if Lin Yi could recover, without the antidote, his strength would quickly dissipate, and he would become a normal person. And so, Qikuan still gave Lin Yi a call, expressing his condolences to his boss. Lin Yi's phone was turned on. The moment he heard the ring, he exited his training mode and picked up. His main task now was to condense the energy ball, so answering a phone call was nothing. Hello. Lin Yi picked up, a little surprised. This was the number Zhao Qikuan had left for him. Why was he calling at a time like this? Zhao Qikuan? Boss, it's me. Qikuan lowered his voice. Boss, I heard that you were poisoned by the 5-step dispersion. Have you recovered? What, you want to test me? Lin Yi said faintly. Qikuan paused and quickly said. How is that possible? Boss, I really do care about you. I know that this 5 steps cultivation dispersal powder is not easy to cure. Have you recovered? Tell me, the Zhao family is about to discuss how to deal with you. I need to know your condition so I can talk to you in the meeting. No, Lin Yi said faintly. He wasn't lying to Qikuan. On one hand, he felt that this guy was reliable and wouldn't betray him. On the other hand, it was a test to see if he was loyal or not. Even if House Zhao came looking for trouble, Lin Yi wasn't afraid. Lin Yi's energy ball compression skills had improved a lot, and even if he was a golden class late phase peak, The energy ball he could compress was enough to cripple an Earth class. As long as he didn't fight them head-on, it was very easy for him to injure someone who came looking for trouble. Chapter 1637. Back from the Rain Mountain. All right, boss, I know what to do. Chikuin nodded. Boss, tell me when you're healed. I don't need to worry. All right. Linny hung up, wondering if Chikuin could really become his confidant. But this was the perfect time to see a person's loyalty. Linny just had to wait patiently. In the hidden House Zhao's meeting room, this was the first time Zhao Qibing participated as a core member of House Zhao. In the meeting room were Zhao Guangyin, Elder Bai, and Zhao Qikuan. Old Master Zhao was in closed-door cultivation, so the Zhao family's family meeting naturally had more people. Even Boss Zhu came back to attend the meeting. Linny is definitely crippled now. It'll be easy for us to deal with him. Elder Bai and the young master, please give the order to kill Lin Yi. Boss Zhu said. He was the one who poisoned him, so he was confident. Grandpa is in solitary practice right now, and before that he told us to keep a low profile and not do anything big. Boss Zhu, did you not know that? Chikuan said faintly as he looked at Boss Zhu. He wasn't as strong as Boss Zhu, but he was a core member of House Zhao. He knew that Boss Zhu was Zhao Qibing's man, so he didn't hold back. Lin Yi's poisoned, and he's lost all his strength. This is a golden opportunity, and you've never lost to Lin Yi before. Naturally, you don't need to worry. Boss Zhu humphed coldly, not giving Chikuan any face. After all, he was an Earth class now, a core member of the hidden House Zhao. He was Zhao Qibing's man, so naturally he wouldn't give face to a competitor like Chikuan. It's true that I've never lost to him before, but in this test, I saw someone lose to him with my own eyes. Chikuan said faintly. The ancient sect, the everyday and everyday sect, isn't they strong? Their disciple knows a wasp absorption arts that can suck the practitioner's chi dry, turning them into a normal person, and Lin Yi just happened to fall for it. What? Lin Yi fell for it? In other words, Lin Yi was no longer a cultivator? That's not right. When Lin Yi fought against the fake Lin Yi, he did have some strength, didn't he? Qibing asked, confused. That's the main point I want to say. Although Lin Yi lost his strength, he recovered very quickly. Not only did he recover, he even broke through. Chikuan said faintly. What happens in the test is actually a secret, but I still want to remind you all that if you think you're stronger than the ancient sect's disciple, you can go fight Lin Yi. Otherwise, don't go die. Is that true? Elder Bai frowned as he looked at Chikuan. He knew that Chikuan had always wanted to be the head of House Zhao, so he didn't really believe him. Why would I lie about something like this? Hidden House Yu and House Pai's people were there. Boss Bai, you can go ask them. Aren't we on good terms with the Hidden House Yu? We'll know if it's true or not. Chikuan said faintly. I'm also a part of House Zhao, and although you all know what I'm thinking, I can't hurt House Zhao and make them lose their strength for no reason. Elder Bai nodded, his face dark. Indeed, Chikuan wouldn't say something like that. Even if it was a secret, with the relationship between House Zhao and House Yu, it wouldn't be hard to find out the truth. He sighed. According to what you're saying, Lin Yi's strength hasn't fallen, and he's recovered to his previous level? Mystic late phase? That's hard to say, but that's what I'm guessing, Chikuan said. That's right. Something similar has happened in the past. Qibing said suddenly. Before, when Lin Yi fought Ma Zhu, I heard that Lin Yi was crippled as well, losing all his strength. Even his meridians were broken. And so, all of Lin Yi's enemies went after him. But not only was Lin Yi not crippled, he even broke through and trampled on all of them. Chikuan's words make sense. Qibing didn't refute Chikuan's words, because he had experienced it firsthand. He almost believed that Lin Yi had lost all his strength last time, and went to cause trouble. But before he could even go, Lin Yi came after him. Qibing would rather believe it than not believe it. If that's the case, I'll call House Yu first. If something like this really happened, then we won't dare do anything rash. Elder Bai said with a dark face. Chikuan, why didn't you say something like this earlier? After the test, the sect master said that the test had to be kept a secret, that we couldn't talk about it. If it weren't for this, I think you guys would have died for no reason. Why would I say it? Chikuan said bitterly. So Elder Bai, it's fine if you ask House Yu, but as for the others, don't ask. If word gets out and the sect master blames us, it'll be troublesome. I see. Elder Bai's face softened quite a bit after hearing the explanation. Young master, you're the son-in-law of House Yu. Why don't you call them and ask about this? All right, I'll call them. Zhao Guangyin nodded. Since Zhao Qibing had returned to House Zhao, he was his son and a strong competitor. Naturally, Zhao Guangyin was very proactive. The hidden House Yu, on the other hand, was in a state of chaos and unrest. There was no other reason than that Yu Shan had returned with good news and bad news. The good news was that Yu Bing had passed the test, and was now an outer disciple of the Ice Palace. The bad news was that Yu Shan had become a cripple, and it was because Yu Bing had colluded with outsiders to cripple him. Feng Nitian was from an ancient sect, and had been crippled by Lin Yi. The Ice Palace gave face to House Feng, and sent a disciple to send him back. Yu Shan, on the other hand, didn't receive the same treatment. He was only sent to the nearest hospital by the Ice Palace disciple, who paid for his medical fees. When Yu Shan was able to get out of bed and walk, it was already a month later when he returned to House Yu. Yu Xiaochun's face was dark as he sat on the seat, looking at his second brother and Yu Shan. The accusation against Yu Shan was only a one-sided story. Now that Yu Bing had entered the Ice Palace and become an outer disciple, who knew what the truth was? Outer disciples who had just entered the sect didn't have the right to contact the house on their own. The Ice Palace could only send a letter on their behalf. Chapter 1638. Only during the second year's new year would the outer sect disciples be allowed to visit their families. During this time, they weren't allowed to contact their families. Yu Bing only found out about this rule after entering the Ice Palace. He wanted to write a letter to the family about the qi-gathering pill, but that was no longer possible. He didn't know that Lin Yi and the Ice Palace had come to some sort of agreement, and that Lin Yi's woman had become the next sect master. So Yu Bing still treated himself as a normal member, not daring to ask for too much. As for Xiao Xiao becoming the sect master's disciple, that was something only the inner sect. The outer disciples only knew that the sect master was taking in a disciple on behalf of her master, but they'd never seen her before. Hart and Yu Shan, this hidden House Yu disciple who used to be on par with Yu Bing, was now crippled. Recovering his training wasn't something that could be done with just 1 or 2 meridian opening pills. All of his meridians were broken, and the meridian opening pill wouldn't be able to heal him. The effect of the pill was that as long as the meridians weren't too damaged, it could be healed. If more than half of the meridians were broken, then the pill would be useless. Only a higher level pill would be able to heal them. And if 90% of the meridians were broken, then perhaps only the legendary mystic first-level pill would be able to heal him. But if 100% of the meridians were broken, then only Lin Yi would be able to heal them. Holy Hall, I've already told you to report this to the old man. Let's wait for him to come out of his isolation before making a decision. Yu Xiaochun said coldly. This involved his son and nephew, and his nephew was a cripple. This wasn't something he could handle. No matter what he did, he'd be biased. He might as well let Elder Yu be the judge. All right, I'd like to see how you, as the head of the house, are going to handle this. Second Elder Yu said angrily. Old ancestor Yu had been in seclusion on the mountain for many years, but this time, something big happened to the family. He had no choice but to come down the mountain and come to the meeting room. Looking at the crippled Yu Shan, old ancestor Yu's face was expressionless, as if Yu Shan wasn't his own grandson. There was no emotion on his face. Father, Grandpa, Patriarch. The people in the meeting room all stood up to greet the elder Yu, but he waved his hand and gestured for them to sit down. He looked at Yu Shan and asked directly, Yu Shan, you said that Yu Bing colluded with outsiders to hurt you? Yes, Grandpa. Yu Shan's eyes were filled with hatred. Holy Church, his heart was unbalanced. Why? What right did Yu Bing have to become an outer disciple of the Ice Palace? But he couldn't. He had such a strong backing, but he still couldn't beat Yu Bing. He couldn't accept this. And so he decided that before Yu Bing came back, he would weave a lie to make House Yu think that Yu Bing was the one who framed him. This way, the old ancestor of House Yu would feel sorry for him and feel indebted to him. He'd give him the medicine to heal his wounds, allowing him to recover his meridians and train again. He still didn't know that his wounds were basically unrecoverable. He was still dreaming. Yushan, on the other hand, dared to lie like this because he knew that Yu Bing hadn't contacted the house for a long time, and they only received a letter from the Ice Palace. It seemed like Yu Bing couldn't contact the house at the moment, so he lied to Yu Bing. Who did he collude with? Old Yu nodded. Lin Yi. Yushan said. That Lin Yi, his alias is Ling Yi, but his real name is Lin Yi. I've already investigated him, he's a mystic late phase. Lin Yi? Old Yu frowned upon hearing this name. Oh, then who did you collude with this time? You didn't beat them? I colluded with. Yushan subconsciously wanted to say Zhao Qikuan and Feng Nitian, but he quickly changed his words. I didn't collude with them, I just formed a small team with a few other people. It's normal for teams to fight for spoils, but Yu Bing instigated Lin Yi to beat me up. At this moment, Yushan purposely ignored Feng Nitian's name. If he told them about Feng Nitian, then he wouldn't have any advantage at all. He was in a team with an ancient noble house's disciple, and he still couldn't beat Lin Yi and Yu Bing? That was too embarrassing. Oh, I see. Who were you in a team with? Who can testify for you? Old Yu was expressionless the whole time, other than the slight change in his expression when he heard Lin Yi's name. Yu Bing is training in the Ice Palace right now, and he can't contact the house. I can't just listen to your side of the story, can I? My injuries are the best proof, Grandpa. Yushan quickly said. I'm with Zhao Qikuan of the Hidden House Zhao. If you don't believe me, you can ask him. You and Zhao Qikuan never beat Lin Yi? That Lin Yi is that strong? Old Yu frowned again. This wasn't the first time he heard of Lin Yi's name. He'd heard it a few times. The first time was because of Ning, saying that she fell in love with a man called Lin Yi. Old Yu had been paying attention to this Lin Yi since then. No matter who Lin Yi was, he was the first person his granddaughter liked, so naturally he would pay attention to him. But when he found out about Lin Yi's strength, as expected, he told Xiaochen to tell Ning to give up on the idea. What a joke, a golden class early phase master wanting to marry the princess of House Yu. What a joke. But no matter what, Old Yu had some impression of this name. But this name had become a taboo in the Hidden House Yu, and no one was allowed to mention it. The next time he heard of Lin Yi was because of the common house Yu. He heard that Lin Yi had killed quite a few people from the common house, and had become a mystic. Of course, Old Yu wasn't surprised that Lin Yi had become a mystic. A mystic was nothing to him. He was surprised that Lin Yi had the guts to go against the common house Yu, and not only that, he'd killed quite a few of their people. But even so, Old Yu didn't have the intention to stand up for the common house Yu. If someone had to stand up for them, it would be Yu Huosheng. He was a person who valued profit, and he wouldn't care about those things. And now, hearing the name Lin Yi again, Old Yu was shocked. Mystic late phase? This leveling speed was really fast. And this time, Old Yu had the intention to go against Lin Yi for the first time. Chapter 1639. If what Yushan said was true, that he really was crippled by Lin Yi, then House Yu had to avenge him. That Lin Yi is really strong. In order to highlight Lin Yi's strength, Yushan didn't hide anything about Naipeo. He told the old man about how Naipeo sucked all of Lin Yi's qi dry, and how he recovered and even broke through. Saint Hall, that amazing? He can recover his strength even after losing it? Old Yu started to pay attention to Lin Yi for the first time. It wasn't because of his practitioner's arts, but it was a magical one that could recover strength quickly. It was indeed very strong, but the old man knew that the practitioner's arts had to be compatible with the body. No matter how strong the arts were, without the body, you wouldn't be able to practice it. Not only would you not be able to practice it, but if you forced yourself to practice it, you might go crazy and die. As a result, Elder Yu wasn't interested in stealing other people's arts. House Yu still had a few powerful arts, but they required special constitutions. House Yu's people didn't meet the requirements at all. They couldn't practice it at all. What Old Yu cared about was whether or not Lin Yi had a powerful background. Being able to participate in the Ice Palace test meant that Lin Yi's background wasn't as simple as it seemed. A normal person, or even a normal noble house, wouldn't know about the Ice Palace test, but Lin Yi knew about it, and went to participate. This meant that either Lin Yi had a powerful force supporting him, or he had a powerful master behind him. Of course, both of them made sense, since Lin Yi had an ability that allowed him to recover his strength quickly. This made people's imaginations run wild. What shocked old Yu even more was that Lin Yi dared to go against the everyday and everyday sect, even crippling them. This Lin Yi was either too daring, or he had the same strength as the everyday and everyday sect behind him. Yes. Otherwise, no matter how weak I am, I wouldn't have lost so badly, Yu Shan said bitterly. Little Chen, investigate Lin Yi's background for me. No matter what, we have to dig it out. Old Yu ordered Yu Xiaochen. Father, the truth of this isn't confirmed yet. Xiaochen didn't have any particular thoughts about investigating Lin Yi, but his father's order meant that he believed Yu Shan's words, right? We can slowly determine the truth of the matter. Investigating Lin Yi doesn't necessarily mean that we have to deal with Lin Yi. Old Yu said. Let's leave it at that for now. Recently, the Noble House Council will be electing a new Grand Elder. I'll see if I can get the position. Don't come to me for small family matters. Yes. Xiaochen's face turned solemn as he replied. He knew the importance of old Yu's words too. If the Noble House Council really did elect a new elder, then a lot of the rules against the hidden houses could be broken. When that happened, it'd be much easier for House Yu's Earth class to go out and do things. As they were talking, the meeting room door was knocked open. It was Xiaochen's subordinate, Yu Lu. Head, the young master of the hidden house Xiao is calling, Yu Lu said as he walked in. If it were a normal person, he wouldn't care so much, but the young master of House Xiao, who was also from a hidden world, called him personally. This was a different matter, and so Yu Lu had to send it over as soon as possible. Yu Xiaochen looked at his father, who nodded. Go ahead, ask him what's the matter, and ask Yu Shan about it as well. Yes. Xiaochen quickly picked up. I'm Yu Xiaochen, head Zhao's brother-in-law. I hope you've been well. The two houses were family. Xiaochen's sister, Xiaojin, was Guangyin's wife, so Xiaochen and Guangyin were very close. Head Yu, I'm calling this time because there's something I'd like to confirm with you. Guangyin didn't waste any time, getting straight to the point. Oh. What is it? I have something to ask you as well. You can go first, Xiaochen said. It's like this. With that, Guangyin told him about how Lin Yi's strength was sucked dry by Naipeo, and how he recovered. Then I'll have to trouble you, head Yu, to ask your disciple Yu Shan, and see if this is the case? Oh. There's no need to ask. I was just about to ask you about this as well. Xiaochen didn't think that Yu Shan wasn't lying to him. This Lin Yi really was strong, but he still asked. I want to ask. My Yu Shan said that it was my Yu Bing who worked with Lin Yi to beat him up. Is that true? Oh. I've never heard of this before. Is your Yu Shan alright? How is he? Guangyin pretended to be concerned, but he didn't really care. His goal was to confirm whether or not Lin Yi was really that strong. He didn't care about anything else. I'll ask my Chiton about this. Why don't I let him tell you directly? Alright, that works too. Let Chiton talk to me then. Xiaochen said. I'll ask him directly. Qikuan was now Lin Yi's follower, and there was no way he'd cause trouble for Lin Yi if Xiaochen asked him. Not only did he not speak up for Yu Shan, he spoke up for Yu Bing instead. The Ice Palace's test has its own rules. It's fine as long as you don't harm your life. This is a rule set by the Ice Palace, so it's normal for people to get hurt in the test. If I were to get hurt, then I can only blame it on my bad luck. That Lin Yi is strong, but he didn't break the rules, otherwise the Ice Palace would have gone after him a long time ago. Qikuan's words were very fairy. He didn't take Lin Yi's side, nor did he take Yu Shan's side. But the more he was like this, the more trustworthy Xiaochen felt. House Xiao, on the other hand, felt that Qikuan was a very smooth person. Now that they knew how strong Lin Yi was, if they still encouraged House Yu to go after Lin Yi, they'd definitely blame House Xiao when Lin Yi beat them up. Now that Qikuan had spoken his opinion, if House Yu still went after Lin Yi, then they wouldn't be able to blame House Xiao. What they didn't know was that Qikuan considered that Lin Yi hadn't recovered yet, and didn't want to cause trouble for Lin Yi. But no matter what, Xiaochen had heard what he wanted to hear. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi was just a small fry, and it didn't matter if he went after him or not. The important thing was Yu Bing's innocence. Chapter 1640. Now Qikuan's words proved this point. This was the rule in the test. There was no such thing as intentional or not. If you were crippled, it only meant that you weren't as skilled as the other. Yu Xiaochen was on speakerphone, so he didn't need to explain this time. Everyone in the meeting room could hear it. House Yu's second brother's face was very ugly, but Yu Shan's face was even worse. He didn't think that Qikuan would go back on his words, after all. They were in cahoots. But thinking about it, Qikuan's words were very objective. Qikuan's identity didn't allow him to lie for him. It would be too much of a risk. Alright, things are clear now. Yu Shan wasn't as skilled as the other, and he was crippled. We'll let this go. If we keep this up, it'll show that we don't know the rules. And if we go after Lin Yi now, it'll be a slap to the Ice Palace's face. Old Yu said faintly. The rules are set by them. You can choose not to participate if you don't agree. Even if we want to take revenge on Lin Yi, the ancient sect every day will take the lead. We don't need to be the first bird. Yes. Xiaochen nodded. As long as Yu Bing's responsibility was removed, he didn't care about anything else. Then do we still investigate Lin Yi? We still have to. Old Yu said. We can't do anything now, but we'll remember this, we'll deal with it later. Old Yu knew that his grandson was lying, but he was still injured after all. If they didn't take revenge, it'd show how weak House Yu was. Some things had to be said. Yes. Xiaochen nodded quickly. The contents of the meeting weren't any secret. It didn't take long for Yu Ning to hear it. She heard that Yu Shan was injured by Lin Yi, and that the house wanted to investigate Lin Yi. She was very worried, but she didn't have anyone to talk to. In the past, when Yu Bing was at home, Yu Ning could discuss things with him, but now that Yu Bing was gone, she didn't have anyone to talk to. In the family, except for Yu Shan, no one else could make Yu Ning open her heart. Even her father and grandfather, although they loved her, they were not optimistic about her love life. So if Yu Ning asked them not to deal with Lin Yi, they would probably deal with Lin Yi faster in desperation. Yu Ning thought of writing a letter to her brother Yu Bing for help. She didn't have the Ice Palace's contact information, so she could only write a letter to the address on the Ice Palace's invitation and mail it out. However, Yu Ning's approach was really right. If it had been someone else, the Ice Palace would have kept the letter, but Yu Bing and Qijie were people Xiao Xiao had told to take care of, and so any letters looking for them would be sent to Xiao Xiao immediately. Lin Yi hung up Qikuan's call and finished condensing the energy ball. These days, Lin Yi had been condensing energy balls, and he didn't even leave the house, so Lin Yi decided to go out for a walk. As he left the room, he saw Tang Yin watching TV in the living room. Lin Yi paused. Lin Yi was focused on condensing the energy ball before, so he didn't notice the commotion in the living room. He was surprised to see Tang Yin. Yin Yin, why are you here? It's nothing. Lin Yi, have you recovered your strength? Tang Yin didn't like what her mother brought up, so she wasn't in a rush to say it. She was just worried about Lin Yi's strength. Templar, 7 by 24 hours non-stop updates, pure handwritten TXT novel. Not yet, but it's okay, I'm confident. Lin Yi shrugged on purpose so that Tang Yin and the miss wouldn't worry. That's good. Tang Yin didn't suspect anything. I'm here because of my mother, right? She told me to tell you to come with us to the 80th birthday of the head of the Hidden House Tang. Hidden House Tang? Lin Yi paused. Hidden House Tang? Is it related to your family? Tang Yun's words shocked Lin Yi. He didn't know which Hidden House Tang was, but to be considered hidden, it had to be at the same level as the Hidden House Yu and House Zhao. Tang Yun was from this Hidden House Tang? Why hadn't he heard of it before? My family is just a side branch of the Hidden House Tang, and we haven't been in contact for 800 years. I don't know what happened this time, but they sent an invitation to our family, asking us to go to the 80th birthday of the Hidden House Tang. Tang Yun said helplessly and disgustedly. I don't agree with going. When Dad was sick, Mom wrote a letter asking for help, but they ignored us. Now that we're suddenly invited, I think there's something wrong. So that's how it is. Lin Yi understood after hearing Tang Yun's explanation. The side branch of a big family was completely different from the main family. The simplest example was Dr. Kang's House Kong and House Kang's House Kong. Although they were from the same family, they lived a luxurious life, and House Kong was running a small business. How could they be afraid of gangsters? So he said, Then what do you mean? Do you want to go? I definitely don't want to go, but Mom asked me to bring you there to show off, something about returning home in glory. Tang Yin frowned. I just brushed her off, so I came here to stay. If you don't want to go, then I'll stay here until I get there. Linny knew Mrs. Tang's personality very well. She'd probably been given a lot of cold shoulder back in the hidden house, and now that her son-in-law was strong, she wanted to show it off. But she probably didn't know what a hidden house was. Hidden houses didn't look up to you just because you had a few companies. They looked up to you. But this was a wish of Mrs. Tang's, and Linny reckoned that she'd take it to heart if he didn't go. Linny hadn't gotten any results from condensing energy balls these past few days, so he might as well go for a stroll. Who knew? Maybe he'd find an opportunity to recover. Linny, on the other hand, planned to attend the birthday banquet with Tang Yin as a normal person. This way, he wouldn't stand out, and he wouldn't attract attention. Linny said, "It's fine to go, but returning home in glory. Haha, I'm afraid they won't look up to our strength." "I know. I told Mom that the hidden houses are mainly practitioners, different from us, but Mom wouldn't listen." Tang Yin said helplessly, "How about we don't go? I'll drag it out, and it'll pass." Chapter 1641. Then let's go. I'll see if there's a chance to recover. St. Hall, Linny said. He didn't know when he would stop condensing energy balls at home. So Linny decided to go out for a stroll. Who knows, maybe he would figure something out. "You don't force yourself." Tang Yin was still worried. "I won't." Linny waved his hand. "When do we leave?" "Maybe within these few days," Tang Yin said. "That's good, we can make it." Linny nodded. The reason why Linny agreed was because he wanted to find a chance to recover. Just like before, in the Ice Palace, at the resort, he found a chance to break through. Maybe this time, there would be an accident too. Things were settled just like that. And Linny went back to his room to continue condensing energy balls. This time, Linny was just a little bit away. Linny wanted to recover his strength before going to the hidden house Tang. So Linny didn't dare to relax and worked even harder. As for House Xiao, they heard that Linny had offended the hidden house Yu as well, so naturally they were happy. They didn't need to rush this time. Who knew if the hidden house Yu would help? Guanyin took the phone from Zhao Qikuan and sighed. "Right, why don't we spread the news that Linny got poisoned by the 5-step powder? If Lin Yi's enemies go after Lin Yi, we won't have to do anything." Guanyin took the phone and sighed. "Right, why don't we spread the news that Lin Yi got poisoned by the 5-step powder? If Lin Yi's enemies go after Lin Yi, we won't have to do anything. Let them go after Lin Yi." "That's hard to say. If we all know, how could the other hidden families not know? We don't know about the remaining noble houses, but they're about to hold the noble house meeting. Who would have the time to deal with Lin Yi?" Qikuan, naturally, didn't want to cause trouble for Lin Yi. Holy Church, that being said. What if there's someone we don't know? Boss Zhu didn't want to give up. "I'll spread the news. I heard that Hidden House Pai and Lin Yi don't have a good relationship, and I heard that Hidden House Pai's disciples were eliminated in the first round of the test. They might not know how strong Lin Yi is, so maybe they'll be the ones to take the fall this time." "Not bad." Guanyin nodded. "The Hidden House Pai is a suitable candidate. Let's spread the news and see how they react." Qikuan didn't want to do this, but there was nothing he could do. There wasn't much he could do to help, but he'd tried his best. After the meeting, Qikuan told Lin Yi about the contents of the meeting, as well as how he failed to convince Lin Yi. "Lin Yi boss, I've tried my best, but my position in the house right now isn't as high as Zhao Qibing's, so I can only tell House Xiao to hold back for now. As for the Hidden House Yu and House Pai, I can't stop them." "Haha, it's fine, this is good enough." Lin Yi nodded. He wasn't worried about House Yu at the moment, and with Yu Bing there, the Hidden House Yu wouldn't make things difficult for him right now. Their internal conflict hadn't been solved yet, so why would they bother him? Boss Yu had taken the chi-gathering pill for himself, and if this got out, the Hidden House Yu would definitely cause a huge commotion. But Lin Yi had forgotten one thing. Yu Bing couldn't contact the Hidden House Yu at the moment. So this matter couldn't be exposed for now. But the good thing was that the old ancestor of House Yu had already figured out the truth, and didn't want to cause trouble for Lin Yi. Lin Yi was temporarily safe, or else Lin Yi would have to use the super energy ball to fight. But there were a lot of times when a trump card wasn't a trump card anymore after being used too many times. His energy ball, on the other hand, could be used to achieve a surprise victory, but the more he used it, the more people would know about it, and he wouldn't be able to keep it as a trump card anymore. At that time, everyone would be on guard against him, and so he tried to use it as little as possible. At least, before he found a new trump card to replace it, it was best not to use it. At the moment, the only one who could see through Lin Yi's move was Bingtang. The others, including Zhang Naipeo and Feng Nitian, didn't know about it. There was a saying, "You don't even know how you died." Boss, rest well then. Yao Wang might have the antidote for the 5-step disperser, but I can't ask for it. I don't have a good reason, and I'm afraid people will suspect me, Qikuan said apologetically. It's okay, you've done very well. As for Qikuan's character, Lin Yi had a better understanding of it after this probing. This person was quite loyal, and once he made up his mind to follow him, he wouldn't betray him. This was the type of follower Lin Yi needed. Just like the people around Lin Yi, they wouldn't betray Lin Yi no matter what. Only people like this would be nurtured by Lin Yi. And so Lin Yi had it all thought. If he succeeded in breaking through to Earth class, he'd make Qikuan an Earth class as well. This way, he'd be more competitive with Qibing in the hidden house Zhao. Hey boss, be careful, Qikuan said. In this period of time, try your best to get close to House Zhao, train some confidence, and I'll give you a surprise, Lin Yi said to Qikuan. To his own people, Lin Yi was always willing to give them some benefits. Surprise? Alright. Qikuan didn't know what Lin Yi was talking about, but something that could surprise him had to be something big, so he happily agreed. As for what it was, he didn't ask. If Lin Yi didn't say it now, he'd find out when the time came. After hanging up, Lin Yi decided to go home with Tang Yin. He wanted to look at the invitation himself, see if he could find any clues from it. Truth be told, Lin Yi felt that this was very strange as well. The hidden house Tang, who hadn't been in contact with Tang Yun's family, suddenly sent an invitation. What was the meaning of this? Although inviting the collateral children of House Tang to the 80th birthday made sense. What about the 70th? The 75th birthday? Target equals _blank. Chapter 1642. From Tang Yun's tone, she hadn't invited anyone from the side branches of the Tang family. Plus, the hidden Tang family didn't like the side branches very much, as if they were afraid that they would take advantage of them. They only registered their names in the family records and treated them like strangers. So Lin Yi decided to go with Tang Yin. If it was just a normal birthday banquet, then they could attend it as normal people. They could just treat it as joining in the fun. But if the hidden Tang family had ulterior motives this time, then Lin Yi had to go and see what was going on. If they really did have ulterior motives, then no matter if Tang Yun's family went or not, they would have a backup plan. So Lin Yi might as well go and see what was going on. Mrs. Tang was furious these 2 days. She complained at home. She finally had a chance to return home in glory, but her daughter didn't listen to her and lived in someone else's house. Her calls were just perfunctory. Mrs. Tang couldn't do anything. She complained to Tang Juqing all day long, and Tang Juqing could only smile bitterly. He knew that his wife wasn't like this when they first got married. But time was a knife that mercilessly changed her personality. Before, when they got married and gave birth to Tang Yun, they went to the hidden Tang house to register. It was fine, but Mrs. Tang didn't think much of it. She didn't think that the hidden Tang family would be taken care of. But after Tang Juqing's leg was broken, Mrs. Tang's personality became greedy, stingy and greedy. But there was no other way. She was a woman, supporting a family. Tang Juqing understood. Especially when she asked for help from the hidden Tang family. On one side was her own family, and on the other side was her own sister. In the end, the letter was like a stone in the ocean. It was normal for her to be angry at the hidden Tang family. Of course, this was because Mrs. Tang didn't know that her sister wasn't living well. If she knew that her sister was locked up in the cold palace, then she wouldn't think like this. All that was left was sympathy. At the end of the day, Mrs. Tang's personality was forced by life. If she lived a luxurious life, she wouldn't be like this. That was why Lin Yi often brushed off Mrs. Tang's antics with a smile. Tang Yun didn't understand how hard it was for her mother to raise her all by herself, but she'd understand when she became a mother. It wasn't easy for Mrs. Tang. The two arrived at Tang Yin's new house. Mrs. Tang was overjoyed to see that Tang Yin had finally brought Linny back. Her eyes narrowed into slits. "Innie, you're here? What do you want to eat?" "I'll make it." "Barbecue?" "No, Auntie, we just ate." Linny forced a smile and said, "The main reason I came here this time is to study the matter of the hidden Tang family." Okay. Mrs. Tang knew that Linny had agreed. She gave her daughter a thumbs up. She thought that Tang Yin said something good for her, but it was Lin Yi who wanted to come. Mrs. Tang nagged and told Lin Yi about the hidden Tang family, including how she rolled her eyes at him and how rich he was. Lin Yi listened on the side, not bothering at all. Perhaps Mrs. Tang's unintentional words contained some important information. After all, Tang Yin didn't know what to say. She'd matured quite a bit in this period of time, and understood her mother's frustrations. No matter what, her mother was a mercenary, but she still loved her. She'd wanted to give her to Lin Yi for money because her mother had a good impression of Lin Yi. If it was someone else, why didn't her mother change when Zhou Ruoming came to tease her? Tang Yin slowly thought through these things, and she didn't feel as confused about her mother anymore. All she felt now was a little helplessness. "Auntie, I know a bit about the hidden houses." Lin Yi's other reason for coming here was to persuade Mrs. Tang to give up on the idea of returning to the hidden Tang family and showing off. And so Lin Yi explained the situation of the hidden houses to Mrs. Tang. "With our strength, they wouldn't even bother looking at us." Tang Yin had explained it before, but Mrs. Tang trusted Lin Yi's words more. Today's happy life and Tang Juqing's recovery were all because of Lin Yi. Mrs. Tang knew that her son-in-law could do anything he wanted, and he'd definitely make her happy. For example, the lucky draw when buying a house. Lin Yi didn't mind helping Mrs. Tang satisfy her vanity, but this hidden Tang family was a giant after hearing Lin Yi's words. Mrs. Tang gave up on the idea of showing off. "I see. Then let's forget about it. We don't have to go. Who cares if they're hidden or not? It has nothing to do with us." Mrs. Tang said, "I just don't know how my little sister is doing. It's been so many years, and there's no news. I've been spoiling her for nothing." Mrs. Tang didn't care much about other things. She didn't expect the hidden Tang family to give her any benefits. She just wanted to see her little sister. Mrs. Tang had a younger sister and a younger brother. The younger brother's family was also benefiting from it. The younger brother's son, Wei, owed money and wanted to sell his kidney. It was Lin Yi who helped him settle it. Deep down, Mrs. Tang felt guilty towards her little sister. Although she didn't get a reply when she wrote to her sister for help, Mrs. Tang knew that her sister must hate her. If it wasn't for her wanting to bring her out to play, she wouldn't have been chosen by the head of the hidden Tang family and forced to stay as a concubine. So no matter what, Mrs. Tang missed her sister a lot. Although she said that, she was still worried. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly at the complicated situation. "Auntie, your sister. She might not have a good life in the Tang family." Lin Yi could tell from how the head of House Zhao Guangyin, treated Qibing. This kind of hidden house didn't really care about the children of concubines. He didn't know why Qibing was acting all cocky these days, but it was true that he wasn't treated well before. Yeah, Xiaoming must have her own difficulties. Otherwise, why wouldn't she help us when she's so close to you? Tang Juqing didn't think too much about it. Lin Yi is right. The hidden Tang family is very complicated. Xiaoming might not have a high position in the family. Otherwise, why would the servants treat us so coldly when we brought Yunyan to the Tang family to register our genealogy records? We wanted to see Xiaoming, but we were rejected? From this, we can see that Xiaoming's words don't work. Chapter 1643. Tang Juqing understood what was going on, so he interrupted and explained. Chapter 1643. Uncle Tang's right, so I feel like there's a problem with Hidden House Tang suddenly sending out an invitation. Lin Yi said and told his suspicions to Mrs. Tang. "Ah, then what should we do? It seems like we can't go." Mrs. Tang jumped after hearing Lin Yi's words. It was already good enough that she didn't want to use Hidden House Tang's name, but they better not have any ulterior motives. "Of course we have to go," Lin Yi said. "It's fine if they don't have any ulterior motives, but if they do, we have to be on high alert. There's no harm in going." "I see." Mrs. Tang was a little fearful. She no longer had the thought of returning home in glory, but now she was thinking about how to avoid bringing disaster to her family. Hidden House Tang's guest house. This was the most luxurious guest house in Hidden House Tang, and it was used to receive important guests. Bingtang, Qing, and Xiaoxiao were living here. Aunt Qing, I want to go see my parents first. I want to sneak a peek at them, see if they're doing well. Bingtang was a little impatient now that she knew about her birth parents. She couldn't wait until Elder Tang's birthday banquet. Plus, wouldn't it be awkward to meet them in that kind of situation? She didn't know if her parents would accept her, and she didn't know if her sister would be hostile towards her, thinking that she was stealing their mother's love. And so Bingtang was very conflicted. As the master of the Ice Palace, Bingtang's thoughts were a little funny, but at the end of the day, she was still a little girl who wasn't even 20 years old. 7 ***. Sure, if you want to go, Palace Master, Qing will bring you. Qing smiled. What's the big deal? We'll just sneak a peek first. Okay. Then should we bring Auntie? Bingtang was hesitant at first, but made up her mind after hearing what Qing said. That's fine too, but I wonder if Xiaoming is willing? Little Qing and Xiaoming were of the same generation, so she directly called her by her name. I'm going to look for Auntie now. Bingtang stood up and went out. Xiaoxiao called out to Bingtang. Xiaoxiao, what's wrong? Bingtang was still a treasure to Xiaoxiao, and she doted on her a lot. Bingtang stopped in her tracks and turned around. Holy Church, then, can you bring me along when you go out? I'll go see Linny Honey on the way. Xiaoxiao ran over and grabbed Crystal Candy's arm, swinging it back and forth. All right, let's go together. Crystal Candy shook her head helplessly. She didn't know where her real parents were. Could she go with Xiaoxiao? She only knew that her father's name was Tang Juqing, and that was what Uncle Da had told her that day. As for her older or younger sister, or the name of her mother that she had never met, she didn't ask, because there was no need to ask about this. So what if he knew the name? What Crystal Candy wanted to see was the person, not the name. As for Xiaoxiao, naturally, she didn't know who Tang Juqing was, and she didn't know that he was Tang Yun's father. Only Linny knew Tang Juqing's name, but Linny couldn't call Tang Yun's father's name directly, and he wouldn't tell Xiaoxiao about this if he had nothing to do. So naturally, Xiaoxiao didn't know that Tang Juqing was Tang Yun's father. Otherwise, she wouldn't be begging Crystal Candy right now. Crystal Candy could come and go as she pleased in the Hidden House Tang, and the mistress of the Hidden House Tang could only stay in the cold palace when Crystal Candy was here. For this, Boss Tang went to comfort her for a long time. As for Xiaoming, she was Crystal Candy's aunt. She would definitely have a position in the hidden house, but it wouldn't be as high as she promised. But Xiaoming wasn't someone who liked to fight for fame and riches. These days, other than talking to Crystal Candy, she spent most of her time in her room, quietly fantasizing about her daughter. Auntie. Crystal Candy walked into Xiaoming's room. Crystal Candy, you're here? Xiaoming had also gotten familiar with her these few days. She no longer feared her, because she was the palace lord of the Ice Palace. She only treated her as a junior, and the two of them became even closer. And Auntie, I want to see my parents first. Can you come with me? Crystal Candy had been the palace master for many years, and naturally, she was very direct. She didn't procrastinate. Xiaoming paused. She didn't think that Crystal Candy would suddenly suggest this. She was both happy and afraid. She was happy that she could see her sister and her daughter earlier, but she was afraid that her sister would be happy if she knew that she was here to steal her child. In fact, Xiaoming wanted to listen to her daughter's opinion. If her daughter wanted to stay by her sister's side, she wouldn't stop her. As long as her daughter recognized her as her mother, she would be very happy. Auntie, don't worry. I'm actually very nervous too. So after we go, we'll sneak a peek first. When we're familiar with each other, we'll meet again. Crystal Candy said. All right, then it's settled. After Xiaoming heard Rock Candy's idea, she let out a sigh of relief and nodded in agreement. Then I'll go get the address and name from Old Tang now. Crystal Candy saw that Xiaoming agreed, and went to Old Tang to get the name and address of her biological parents. Elder Tang did not dare to say a single word of rejection. He quickly got Dabo to find the information, and gave it to Crystal Candy. Then Crystal Candy went to the guest house with Xiao Ming. Xiao Xiao, where's Lin Yi? Is he far from my parents' city? Crystal Candy asked Xiao Xiao with the information in her hand. My parents live in Songshan. Huh. Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. No way. He's in Songshan too? What a coincidence. Lin Yi's husband is in Songshan. Crystal Candy was surprised as well. She never asked where Xiao Xiao's home was because it wasn't important to her. They didn't talk about it when they chatted, and Xiao Xiao had been busy with her training. She didn't even talk about the city she grew up in. It seemed like it was such a coincidence. That's great, Xiao Xiao said. This time, it's really on the way. It's really on the way. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Crystal Candy nodded. Then let's pack up and get ready to leave tomorrow. Chapter 1644. All right, Xiao Xiao said. It's best if we leave today. Right, Auntie Ming's daughter. Is she your cousin or cousin? Ugh. She counts as a cousin or cousin. Xiao Xiao was a bit dizzy. Was this a marriage on top of a family? This relationship was really messy. 7 asterisk. She's my sister. Crystal Candy smiled. She was born a month later than me, haha. Speaking of which, she's the real Crystal Candy, and if I wasn't switched, I'd be called Tangyan now. Wah! Xiao Xiao jumped up as if her tail was stepped on. Senior sister Crystal Candy, what did you say? What's your sister's name now? Crystal Candy, Qing, and Xiao Ming were confused by Xiao Xiao's sudden reaction. What was wrong with her? Why was she so surprised? Tangyan. What a nice name. Crystal Candy looked at Xiao Xiao oddly. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao, could it be that you know my Tangyan sis? Ugh. I do know someone. But I don't know if she's the one you're talking about. But it seems like it. Xiao Xiao's face was even weirder. No wonder I felt that you looked so familiar the first time I saw you. Sometimes your expression is so familiar. You're actually Tangyan's sister. You really know her? Crystal Candy was very excited as she asked. Then what kind of person is she? Is she easy to get along with? Is she hard to get along with? Crystal Candy's heart was beating like a drum at the same time. She didn't know what kind of person her Tangyan sis was. What if she wasn't easy to get along with? Looking at Crystal Candy's worried face, Xiao Xiao understood why she was worried. She couldn't help but laugh. Hee. What are you laughing at? Crystal Candy paused, not knowing what Xiao Xiao was laughing about. Does she think that my appearance will take away her motherly love? I know her personality the best. Xiao Xiao paused, purposely keeping Crystal Candy in suspense as she looked at her worried face. Holy hall, Xiao Xiao. Hurry up and tell me, you're making me so anxious. Crystal Candy looked at the silent Xiao Xiao and started panicking. Hurry up and tell me. What's her personality? She's Lin Yi's husband's first wife. Xiao Xiao said. Ah. Crystal Candy's eyes went wide. Xiao Xiao, what are you talking about? What, Lin Yi's husband's first wife? You're saying that Tangyan sis is Lin Yi's girlfriend? Then you. Of course I'm the small wife. Xiao Xiao said matter-of-factly. Xiao Xiao, I'm a little confused. What are you talking about? Rock Candy felt dizzy. You mean Lin Yi has 2 girlfriends, my Tangyan sister is one, and you are the other? Is that so? Because it was about her daughter, Xiao Ming's ears perked up. Hearing that her daughter was with another woman and a man, she couldn't help but feel sad and worried for her daughter. She knew Xiao Xiao's identity, the next leader of Ice Palace. What kind of powerful background did she have? In the hidden house Tang, she was ostracized and thrown into the cold palace, because Boss Tang's wife was from the hidden house Yu. And now that Lin Yi's girlfriend was the next leader of Ice Palace, would her daughter have a good life? She couldn't help but worry at the thought, but she didn't know the situation and couldn't just ask. Yeah, you're so smart, Crystal Candy sis. Xiao Xiao nodded. I like Lin Yi honey, but I was sick and dying, and Tangyan sis took pity on me, so she let me be Lin Yi honey's small wife. Do you think she's easy to get along with? Ah, no way. Rock Candy felt a little dizzy. If it was like what Xiao Xiao said, then Tangyan was easy to get along with, too easy to get along with. Wasn't this person a little too kind? Just because Xiao Xiao was sick and dying, she was willing to share her husband with someone else? According to what Xiao Xiao said, She wouldn't have any bad feelings towards her if she just accepted him as her parents, right? Why not? She's very kind, Xiao Xiao said. Tang Yunsis is a very good person. I like her the most. Ugh. That means she won't have bad feelings towards me and Auntie just because we're here? Rock Candy asked carefully. Of course not. You'll know when you get there. Tang Yunsis is a very nice person, and if she knew she had a sister like you, she'd be very happy, Xiao Xiao said. Okay, that's good. Rock Candy let out a breath of relief. We'll leave in a bit. After hearing Xiao Xiao's words, she didn't have anything to worry about anymore, and she couldn't wait anymore. Xiaoming, on the other hand, breathed out in relief as well. It seemed like Xiao Xiao and her daughter's relationship was very good. This way, her daughter wouldn't be bullied by her anymore, and from her words, she could tell that Xiao Xiao raised Tang Yin. This made Xiaoming even happier, as long as her daughter was happy. As for having multiple wives and concubines, Xiaoming was quite open-minded about it. She'd been hidden in House Tang for so many years. How could she not understand this? But a coward like Boss Tang would only be afraid of House Yu's power and leave her alone. But Lin Yi wasn't that type of person. She could tell from Xiao Xiao's tone that Lin Yi was a very opinionated person. And Xiao Xiao wouldn't make things difficult for Tang Yin just because she was the next sect master of Ice Palace. Your first wife and second wife getting along so well, it's quite rare. Xiaoming couldn't help but sigh. Hee, of course it's good. There's a second wife and first wife waiting to take over, Xiao Xiao said, but Lin Yi honey hasn't accepted them yet. There's a line? And it's a couple? Rock Candy felt weird. What was so good about this Lin Yi? Why was he so popular? There was a line? Yeah, but I'm pretty close with the second wife, and Tang Yunsis is pretty close with the first wife too. They'll probably become Lin Yi honey's second wife in the future. Xiao Xiao said nonchalantly, but it doesn't matter. The four of us are very close, and we've been living together all this time. We were originally two groups, but now we're one group. Rock Candy was speechless, and Xiaoming was even more speechless. Did these two groups of people become one? Why was this Lin Yi so popular? Chapter 1645. But neither of them had experienced love before, and they hadn't felt the magic of love, so they didn't have much of a say. Xiaoming already had a child, but when it came to love, she'd only dreamed of it, not experienced it. Hee, but I'll be able to see Lin Yi honey soon. I'm so happy, Xiao Xiao said. Man, I left in a hurry this time. I wonder what good stuff the Ice Palace has. I should bring some for Lin Yi honey and Tang Yunsis. Cough. Xiao Xiao, you're the future palace master of the Ice Palace. You can't be helping an outsider. Bingtang coughed. I don't? Since I'm the future palace master, then the Ice Palace is my family's, and that means it's Lin Yi honey's. Is there a difference? Xiao Xiao asked. Bingtang suddenly regretted making Xiao Xiao stay. Was she inviting a wolf into the house? This girl wasn't even the palace master yet, and she was already thinking of taking the Ice Palace's assets. Wouldn't she have to move? But Bingtang knew that Xiao Xiao was mostly joking, so she wasn't annoyed. Haha, when you get to Sky Class and go after higher realms, you won't care about these things anymore. Yeah, but at that time, Lin Yi honey has to become Sky Class, or I'll be bored myself, Xiao Xiao said. Holy Hall Xiaoming was a bit envious of Xiao Xiao, happy for her daughter as well. It was the same type of girls who fell in love with the same man, but their lives were completely different from hers. They were from two different worlds. Their lives were filled with love and sunshine, and they lived in harmony. She, on the other hand, in Hidden House Zhao, her position was lower than a servant. Luckily, Bingtang was here, and she had freedom. To be honest, she didn't have any love for Boss Tang anymore. She had looked forward to it when she accepted her fate, but now she didn't have any feelings for him at all. She even wanted to leave Hidden House Tang if she could. But she was afraid that her sister and brother-in-law wouldn't accept her. She was afraid that they would think that she was trying to snatch Tang Yin away from them. Xiaoming couldn't help but sigh. She was a little lost about her future. Auntie, you don't have to worry. I heard from Xiao Xiao that my Tang Yunsis is a reasonable person. She's easy to get along with. With Xiao Xiao's help, we won't be discriminated against or bullied. Rock Candy said, since Xiao Xiao is so confident, we don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, Aunt Ming, it's fine. Tang Yun sis and I are the best. Xiao Xiao comforted. You'll know when we get there. With rock candy and Xiao Xiao's persuasion, Xiaoming calmed down a little, and so the four prepared to leave. As for rock candy going to Songshan to see her birth parents, old Tang, naturally wasn't too willing. If rock candy went alone, she would be bypassing the hidden house Tang. To be honest, she didn't have much to do with the hidden house Tang. At that time, the Ice Palace would definitely distance themselves from the hidden house Tang. This wasn't the result old Tang wanted to see. So after rock candy and the others left, old Tang once again gathered the family members and held a short family meeting to discuss how to maintain a good working relationship with the Ice Palace in the future. Old Tang sat there with his head down, not saying a word. He had been feeling very wrong these past few days. She was his daughter, but now she wasn't. In order to maintain his position as the head of House Tang, he had to go back and hug House Yu's thigh, getting mocked by Yu Xiaoxin. As for Xiaoming, he wasn't that enthusiastic anymore. No matter what, Xiaoming was only rock candy's aunt. If he tried to please Xiaoming, it wouldn't be of much use. Rock candy didn't even acknowledge him as her uncle. A father and an uncle were worlds apart. If rock candy didn't recognize him as her father, he still had a chance to slowly repair the relationship. After all, they were father and daughter. But if it was her uncle, there was no hope at all. So when Xiaoming left, old Tang let out a sigh of relief. If she left, then so be it. This time, he had a reason to let Yu Xiaoxin out of the cold palace. Old Tang, tell me, how can we let the Ice Palace master keep taking care of our hidden Tang family? The duck that was about to be cooked flew away. Now, I'm afraid we're just like the Ice Palace's vassals. She only treats us as her eyes and ears, not as her confidants. She can just leave us whenever she wants. This kind of relationship is too unstable. Old Tang was an understanding person. We and the Ice Palace don't have any beneficial relationship. It's very easy for us to part ways. Father, I can't do anything about it. Old Tang smiled bitterly. If the sky wants to rain, the mother will have to marry. This is an unchanging truth. Rock Candy doesn't have much of a relationship with our Tang family anymore. It's not realistic to expect her to always take care of us. Plus, the Ice Palace doesn't seem to be lacking in money. They don't need us to help them manage their business. It's really difficult. Big brother, you're wrong about that. Before old Tang said anything, second brother spoke first. That Tang Juqing, isn't he also a branch of our Tang family? He's considered one of us. We can give him a villa nearby. That way, when his whole family moves here, the Ice Palace Master can come back to visit when she misses her parents. This way, she'll have more opportunities to interact with our hidden Tang family. Won't this kind of relationship be nurtured slowly? That makes sense. Old Tang nodded after hearing second brother's words. Second brother, you're not bad. You have some brains. It's decided then. Dad, the villas around here cost tens of millions to hundreds of millions. Spending such a huge investment. Eldest Tang did not usually have much money in his private savings. Although he was the head of the family, he still had Grandpa Tang above him. Therefore, he only had a few million a year. Spending tens of millions to buy a villa for Tang Juqing was a bit of a loss. Compared to the Ice Palace Master's special treatment, what's 100 million? I'll buy it. Old Tang said. Just as Lin Yi and Tang Yun's family were about to leave, a couple of uninvited guests arrived at the Chu villa. Of course, one of them surprised Lin Yi. When Lin Yi opened the door and Xiao Xiao threw herself into his arms, he was a bit stunned. Xiao Xiao? You're back? Lin Yi was only a golden class late phase peak, but dodging Xiao Xiao's pounce was a piece of cake. He didn't dodge because he recognized her. Target equals _ blank. Chapter 1646. Lin Yi, honey, did you miss me? Xiao Xiao was very excited to see Lin Yi. It was only half a month, but it felt like 3 years had passed. Of course I did. Lin Yi let Xiao Xiao hug him, shocked. You're a golden class early phase already? Yeah, I'm only golden class early phase, still far from you. Xiao Xiao was a little dejected. She'd planned to come back and show off to Lin Yi when she became a sky class, but now that she had the chance to come back and visit her family, she decided to come back first. Xiao Xiao, Meng Yao Yushu and Tang Yun heard the doorbell as well. Lin Yi came out first, and they followed right behind him. They were surprised to see Xiao Xiao hanging on Lin Yi. No way, Xiao Xiao, you're a sky class now? Yushu's eyes went wide as she looked at her former partner with a bitter face. I'm still a normal person, and you're already a master. The prank duo has to disband. Haha, we can't disband. Xiao Xiao couldn't hang on Lin Yi anymore now that the girls were here. She jumped off Lin Yi and smiled at Yushu. Old partner, long time no see. You're bored without me, right? Yeah, I don't even know who to mess with. I can't mess with Shield Bro, can I? Yushu nodded. You're not leaving now that you're back? Going to university with us? I can't, I'm only here to visit family with Bingtang sis. I'm only golden class early phase now, I still have to go back. Xiao Xiao shook her head. I need to be sky class to fully unleash my cold attribute, and I won't be bothered by the cold energy anymore. I see. Yushu was a little disappointed. Bingtang, that girl is here too? Lin Yi was a little surprised. Isn't she an orphan? Why is she visiting family? Does she have relatives in Songshan? Who are you calling a little girl? Before Xiao Xiao could say anything, a cold voice sounded. Crystal Candy was already standing in front of Lin Yi. Lin Yi was startled by her sudden appearance. He thought to himself that this heaven stage expert was no different from a ghost. She was soundless and he couldn't sense anything at all. However, Lin Yi wasn't afraid of her now. He said indifferently. If you're not a little girl, then are you a man? Do you want to die? Crystal Candy was pissed off by Lin Yi's words, but because of Xiao Xiao, she couldn't do anything. Plus, it wasn't just Xiao Xiao's relationship right now, there was Tang Yun as well. If she really touched Lin Yi, then she wouldn't be able to recognize him anymore. So Bingtang could only give in and glare coldly at Lin Yi, but she didn't make a move. Holy Church, Lin Yi was just saying it casually. He didn't think that Crystal Candy would really endure it. He felt a little strange. Originally, Lin Yi wanted to use Crystal Candy's anger to show off his golden class late phase peak strength. Then Crystal Candy would be confused as to why his strength dropped. And Lin Yi would have a reason to ask Crystal Candy how to deal with the 5-step dispersion. Even if Crystal Candy didn't ask, Xiao Xiao would ask anyway. But Crystal Candy didn't give Lin Yi the chance. Without a reason, Lin Yi couldn't just ask Crystal Candy like this. He wasn't that close with her, and asking her like this was a little embarrassing. Back then, Lin Yi had told Bingtang and Qing that a hero's background didn't matter, and that he would definitely become a golden class refiner within 2 years. But now, not only did he have no clue how to become a refiner, his strength had dropped. This made Lin Yi feel very embarrassed, especially in front of Crystal Candy, a sky class late phase peak girl. I'm living pretty well for now. I can't die before I fulfill my promise, Lin Yi said. Humph. Crystal Candy laughed coldly after hearing Lin Yi's words. Purposely showing your golden class late phase peak strength for me to see? Ugh. Lin Yi didn't expect his plan to be discovered by Crystal Candy. He felt a little awkward. Ugh, I've been poisoned recently, and my strength has dropped. Poisoned? Xiao Xiao was shocked. Lin Yi, honey, what poison did you get? Are you okay? 5-step dispersion. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. My strength can only reach golden class late phase peak for now. Once I reach mystic, my strength will quickly disappear, and I'll become a normal person. Ah, that's strong. Xiao Xiao started and quickly turned to Bingtang. Bingtang sis, do you have a way to cure it? Hurry up and help Lin Yi, honey. Lin Yi was happy. Xiao Xiao was the one who brought it up. This way, Lin Yi wouldn't lose face in front of the sky class girl. If Bingtang was an elder, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't be ashamed to ask her questions, but the problem was that Bingtang was just a little girl around his age. Asking him to be so thick-skinned as to ask all this and all that, Lin Yi felt a little awkward. 5-step dispersion? You can't even cure such a simple poison. And you still want to be a refiner? Crystal Candy looked at Lin Yi mockingly. I can, but there's spring grass. I don't have it right now, Lin Yi said, unwilling to back down. Crystal Candy nodded. It seemed that Lin Yi wasn't completely clueless. Since he knew about spring grass, naturally he knew how to cure the poison. Crystal Candy sis, do we have spring grass in the Ice Palace? Xiao Xiao asked quickly. Crystal Candy patted her forehead, feeling a little dizzy. Xiao Xiao, we don't grow spring grass in the Ice Palace. Plus, spring grass only grows in spring, and it's only effective when it's fresh. It's already withered now. So that's how it is. Xiao Xiao understood now. No wonder Lin Yi didn't have the antidote yet. He didn't have the ingredients for the antidote. But she didn't give up. What do we do now, Crystal Candy sis? There's nothing we can do about it. We'll just wait until next spring. Maybe your husband has a better solution. Crystal Candy said faintly. He's really amazing. Even a sky-class girl like me can't do it. There's no other way. As long as you break through to Earth class, the poison will be cured. But breaking through from Golden class late phase peak to Earth class is a little difficult. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I've been trying, but there's no result yet. Lin Yi's words surprised Bingtang. Golden class late phase peak to Earth class all of a sudden? Only inheritors could do that, right? How could one break through so many levels with other methods? Chapter 1647. Bingtang sis, do you have any ideas? Xiao Xiao asked. For example, can we give some of our qi to Lin Yi's honey and let him break through? How is that possible? Our practitioners' arts are different. Do you want to freeze him to death? Let me think about it. Let's not talk about this for now. Bingtang shook her head helplessly. She understood that Lin Yi was in trouble, but he didn't want to say it because of his pride. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, cooperated and said it for him. Yeah, let's go in first. Xiao Xiao suddenly remembered that the main purpose of everyone coming here was for Auntie Ming and Bingtang to reunite, so she quickly said. When Bingtang appeared, Tang Yun stood not far away and looked at her. She felt a sense of familiarity, as if she had met her somewhere before, but she was sure that she hadn't. Since she was Xiao Xiao's senior sister, then she was the palace master of Ice Palace. How would Tang Yun know such a high and mighty person? The moment Xiao Ming and Little Qing walked out of the car not far away, Tang Yun's gaze paused on Xiao Ming. That moment made her feel a little suffocated. If the previous rock candy gave her a familiar feeling, then this Xiao Ming who appeared later made Tang Yun feel a sense of closeness, as if they were connected by blood. It was a sense of closeness that came from the bottom of her heart. She stood there in a daze, not knowing what to do as she stared at Xiao Ming. Xiao Ming's gaze was on Tang Yun from the start to the end. She didn't need anyone to introduce her, nor did she need to confirm. She could already confirm that this girl was her daughter, Tang Yun. This sense of closeness was even stronger than when she first met Rock Candy. If it weren't for her worries, Xiao Ming would have rushed up and hugged Tang Yun and cried. It had been almost 20 years, and this was the first time Xiao Ming saw her own flesh and blood. She was still alive and just like Bingtang, so beautiful. Xiao Ming was so excited that she couldn't even walk properly. Little Qing reacted quickly and held on to Xiao Ming, bringing her over to Lin Yi's side. Tang Yun was surprised, but she was surprised that Xiao Ming seemed to be looking at her. He looked at her, and she looked back at him. Yao, look at that person. Tang Yun held Mingyao's hand guiltily, gesturing towards Xiao Ming's direction. At first, Chu Mingyao didn't notice this, but after Tang Yun's reminder, she followed Tang Yun's gaze and looked at Xiao Ming in surprise. She then turned to look at Tang Yun, and a strange expression appeared on her face. You. Mingyao didn't know how to put this into words, but the two looked very similar. Lin Yi noticed Tang Yun's weird behavior as well. He followed her gaze to Xiao Ming and frowned. He turned to Xiao Xiao and asked, Xiao Xiao, what's wrong? That person. Husband Lin Yi, let's go into the house and talk. Xiao Xiao didn't know how to broach the subject either. This was something they could talk about when they sat down in the house. Lin Yi nodded. His instincts told him that Bingtang's sudden visit wasn't as simple as it seemed. Family visit? What family visit? Thinking of Xiao Ming and Tang Yun, Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. Bingtang's family visit wasn't for Tang Yun, was it? Ever since Tang Yun got involved with the hidden Tang house, Lin Yi had been very suspicious. He didn't dare make such a bold guess, since Tang Yun and Bingtang's identities were worlds apart. How could they be related? But now, if Tang Yun was related to the hidden Tang house, then it might be related to Bingtang. The group entered the living room and sat down. Bingtang took a deep breath. Even as the sect master of the Ice Palace, she was a little nervous. But Xiao Ming didn't have much experience, so it was best for her to explain at a time like this. She had to have a topic to explain, and Bingtang couldn't help but look at Xiao for help. Haha, senior sis, leave it to me. But you need to help with Linny, honey. Xiao took the chance to extort. Alright, I'll think of something. Bingtang was being blackmailed, but she could only accept it. Linny, honey, Tang Yin sis, Yao sis Shu, let me introduce everyone. This is my senior sis, Bingtang. She's Auntie Qing, an elder of our ice palace, and she's Bingtang sis's aunt. Xiao introduced everyone before continuing. This time, Bingtang sis and Auntie Ming are here to visit family, and I'm here to visit everyone. Visit family? Aunt. Linny frowned. Didn't the sect master say that you were an orphan in the ice palace? How come you have an aunt now, and you're here to visit family? And through the hidden Tang family, I found out about my identity. I came here this time to see my biological parents, as well as the little sister who was supposed to be my aunt's daughter, but became my parents' daughter by mistake. Bingtang said guiltily as she looked at Tang Yin. Tang Yin seemed to have sensed something, and her body shook. She looked at Bingtang in disbelief, and then at Xiaoming, guessing what was going on. Bingtang couldn't be talking about her, could she? Bingtang's parents were her parents? As for Xiaoming, she was his mother? Bingtang's hint was very obvious, and if Tang Yin could tell, so could Lin Yi. He smiled and held Tang Yin's hand, telling her not to be nervous. Sect Master, you're not saying that Tang Yin is your sister, are you? Tang Yin's face changed slightly, and Bingtang took a deep breath. Xiao interrupted. It's actually like this. Bingtang sis is Tang Yin sis's cousin, and Auntie Ming is Tang Yin sis's birth mother. It's very simple. It was a complicated relationship, but it became a lot easier after Xiao pointed it out. In an instant, everyone went silent, especially Tang Yin, who held on to Lin Yi's hand, not knowing what to do. Xiaoming and Bingtang were a little better, since they'd already been shocked. Since they came here, they were prepared, but Tang Yin was the one who couldn't accept it. Everything was fine and suddenly, she had a mother, and a sister of the sect master. Tang Yin didn't know what to say. She looked at Lin Yi nervously, and only managed to say 2 words. Tplentips. Chapter 1648. Tang Yin. Don't be nervous. I don't have any other intentions for coming here. Xiaoming saw how panicked Tang Yin was and quickly said, We didn't go to you and brother-in-law's place because we wanted to consider your feelings first. If you can't accept it, then we'll forget about it and pretend it never happened. I'll leave. No. Tang Yin's heart ached when she heard that. This was her birth mother. She hadn't seen her for so many years, and now that she saw her again, how sad would she be if she rejected her? Of course, Tang Yin also felt that Xiaoming and Rock Candy wouldn't lie to her about this. After all, there was no benefit to lying to her. Science was so advanced, and there was DNA testing. It was easy to see through a lie. 7*. And so Tang Yin subconsciously said no. She did feel a sense of closeness toward Xiaoming, but she just couldn't accept it right now. This matter is complicated enough. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. It was simple, but the complicated part was the relationship between everyone. Tang Yin sis, don't worry. Senior sis is a good person, and she only came this time to see your parents, her birth parents. After that, she'll go back to the Ice Palace. It won't affect your lives. Xiao explained for Rock Candy. But if you don't want to, it's fine too. No. It's not that I don't want to, but it's too sudden, and I can't accept it all at once. Tang Yin shook her head. No one would be able to accept this. Even Lin Yi would be shocked for a long time when 2 people suddenly appeared and said they were his parents, let alone a girl like Tang Yin. Holy hall then. Think about it, there's no rush. We'll talk about other things after you think about it. Rock Candy said softly. Tang Yin sis, let Xiao stay with you. Auntie and I will wait for you in the living room. Crystal Candy gave Xiao a look, telling her to help out and persuade them. She was the only one who could help them now. Tang Yin sis, we haven't seen each other in a long time. Let's go have a chat? With that, Xiao pulled Tang Yin's hand and walked upstairs. She knew the structure of the villa like the back of her hand, since she used to be a part of this place. Lin Yi didn't follow up. Instead, he said to the Miss and Shu, Yao Yao Shu, you guys go up and help Yin Yin. She's never been through something this big before, so she definitely doesn't have any ideas. The Great Wall. All right. Mingyao didn't hesitate and pulled Yushu upstairs. In the living room, only Lin Yi, Rock Candy, Qing, and Xiaoming were left. Lin Yi, you're living quite the life for beauties. Rock Candy said sarcastically after the four girls went upstairs. She wasn't a stranger to having groups of wives and concubines. Many ancient sects and families were like this, but that was because they had the strength to do so. Lin Yi was just a small freelancer, and he was weak as well. Yet, he had so many beauties, and one of them was the future palace master of Ice Palace. And the other one was her own cousin. This made Rock Candy a little uncomfortable. If Lin Yi was a sky class, she would accept it. Or if Lin Yi was an advanced refiner, that was an even more popular profession. It wouldn't be surprising if he had 100 wives, but Lin Yi was nothing. It's all right. Lin Yi didn't seem to hear Rock Candy's sarcasm and said faintly, "Don't you think that I'm weaker than you, so you look down on me?" Rock Candy felt a little awkward at Lin Yi's bluntness. It wasn't that big of a deal before. Why would she care about Lin Yi's thoughts? But it was different now. With Xiao Xiao here, Bingtang had to give Xiao Xiao some face, right? Now that Tang Yin was here, Lin Yi's identity was equal to Rock Candy's brother-in-law. Rock Candy really couldn't belittle him too much. So what if I am? To be honest, with your current strength, you're not good enough for Xiao Xiao. But Rock Candy was a prideful person, and since Xiao Xiao and Tang Yin weren't here, she didn't hold back. Then with your vision, what kind of person is good enough for Xiao Xiao? Lin Yi asked with a smile instead of getting angry. Sky class late phase peak, or a golden class third level refiner and above, Rock Candy said. Oh, then what kind of person is good enough for you? Lin Yi couldn't let Rock Candy tease him all the time, so he would tease her at the right time. Surpassing me in strength and being a mystic first level refiner, Rock Candy said. Hearing Rock Candy's words, Lin Yi couldn't help but find it funny. Rock Candy was now a sky class late phase peak master. Surpassing her was the legendary Heaven's Path. As for whether there were levels after that, Lin Yi wasn't sure. As for a mystic first level refiner, that was also a legendary existence. It was hard to say whether or not they existed in reality. Haha. Lin Yi smiled faintly. Is it funny? Rock Candy was just purposely making Lin Yi angry. She knew that this kind of person was hard to find, but she didn't have any thoughts of choosing a partner right now. Her ultimate goal was to pursue Heaven's Path. Once she entered Heaven's Path, her lifespan would be extended. Even if she wanted to find a partner, it had to be of the same level. From what I see, only I can reach this level. You need to pray. If I can't reach it, you'll be a widow for the rest of your life. Lin Yi said with a troubled expression. Rock Candy heard Lin Yi's words and almost burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. Lin Yi, you're really arrogant, you? What about me? Lin Yi said with a serious face. You want to take in all the sisters? Senior sister, junior sister, cousin cousin cousin? That's a lot of names. Rock Candy pouted. I order them according to the order of entry. I don't care if you're a senior sister, cousin or cousin. After you enter the door, you'll be my little wife. Lin Yi said. Good, very good. Rock Candy was amused by Lin Yi. Then I'll wait for the day when I become your little wife. Actually, you look pretty good when you smile. You're usually so cold and boring. Lin Yi looked at the little dimples on Rock Candy's face and said. Rock Candy put away her smile and said faintly, the joke is over. Lin Yi, remember what I said. Xiao Xiao can't wait for you for too long. Also, you promised me the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill. If you don't have it, then I can only let Xiao Xiao be the inheritor. Chapter 1649. I'm not joking with you, I'm telling the truth. Lin Yi said. Which one? You want to surpass me in strength and become a mystic first-level refiner? Candy frowned. Oh, I guess so, but I'm mainly saying that you need to smile more. My Xiao Xiao loves to smile. I don't want her to become a cold beauty because of you. Lin Yi said. Are you done? Bingtang gnashed her teeth in anger. I am, Lin Yi said. In the room upstairs, Tang Yin stared blankly at the blue sky outside the window, not saying a word. Xiao Xiao held her hand and sat beside her. Mingyao and Yushu, on the other hand, didn't know what to say. This was someone else's family business, and it was the hardest thing to get involved in. They understood how Tang Yun was feeling, but this knot in her heart had to be solved by herself. So no one said a word. They stayed with Tang Yun until the sky turned dark. Mingyao walked over and turned on the lights when the room was completely dark. Holy Hall, the light seemed to wake Tang Yun up from her melancholy. She turned around and saw Xiao Xiao, Mingyao, and Yushu beside her. She felt touched. She'd been in a melancholy state and didn't notice the people beside her. It was as if they didn't exist. Only now did she feel the warmth of a family. You guys. You're all here. Sorry, I made you guys worry, Tang Yun said, embarrassed. Yin Yin, what are you talking about? You're a part of this family, a good friend of ours. It's normal for us to worry about you. Mingyao said. We didn't want to disturb you when we saw how quiet you were, but now we have something to talk to you about. Yin Yin, look at you, you're so blessed. You already have a mom, and now you have another one, and I don't even know where my mom is. In comparison, you're so much happier than me. Yeah, my mom's still in the ice coffin. I need to level up to sky class to cure her. Yin Yin sis, you're much stronger than me, Xiao Xiao said. Yes. My mom and dad are doing research every day, and I don't know what they're researching. We can't even see them, Yushu said. Holy church, hee. Thank you. Actually, I've thought it through. Tang Yun put on a smile and said to everyone. I was just a bit shocked before, and I couldn't change my mindset for a while. But now that I think about it, it's nothing. With you guys and Linny here, I'm not afraid of anything. Have you thought it through? Xiao Xiao saw the smile on Tang Yun's face and felt a little happy. She thought that Tang Yun would need a long time to think about it, at least an entire night, but she was able to think it through in one afternoon. This was a little out of her expectations. Actually, there's nothing to think about. You guys are right. Although I don't feel comfortable, suddenly realizing that the parents I've lived with for 19 years aren't my real parents. They're not blood related, but they're closer than that. What's there for me to worry about? Tang Yun said. Plus, I'm an adult now, and I have a boyfriend. I'm not a kid anymore. Haha, let's go then. We'll go downstairs, Bingtang sis and the others are probably waiting for us, Xiao Xiao said. Alright. Tang Yun nodded and went downstairs with Xiao Xiao and the others. As expected, they saw Linny with Bingtang, Qing, and Xiaoming in the living room. The three didn't have much to talk about. Linny was watching TV, and Bingtang was helplessly watching with Linny. Although she could watch satellite TV in the Ice Palace, a cultivator like her was more focused on cultivation. She wasn't very interested in TV programs. You guys came down? Linny saw that Tang Yun's face had returned to her usual calmness and relaxed. He knew that she had thought it through. Yes. Tang Yun was the first to nod and walk to Lin Yi's side, looking at Xiaoming and Bingtang with a gentle gaze. Then, what should I call you guys? Anything. You can also call me auntie like Bingtang. Tang Yun's current identity was Xiaoming Sis's daughter after all. Tang Yun saw the bitterness on Xiaoming's face and her heart ached. Although she was a bit bashful and calling out mom made her feel awkward, Xiaoming's helplessness at that moment made Tang Yun blurt out the word mom. Although it was a bit shaky, it was the most difficult step she had taken. Xiaoming was surprised and happy, and tears fell down. When she was waiting downstairs, although she didn't show it on her face, she was very worried. She was afraid that Tang Yun wouldn't recognize her. Afraid that Tang Yun would think that she was here to cause trouble. But now, her heart was filled with comfort, and she replied happily. She wanted to hug Tang Yun, but her arms stopped. Mommy. Tang Yun took the initiative to hug Xiaoming. This was an innate sense of closeness. Blood was thicker than water. Tang Yun couldn't help but be infected. This second time, she called Xiaoming's mommy's name. It was much smoother than before. Bingtang heaved a sigh of relief. Little Qing also heaved a sigh of relief. And Lin Yi and the others were sincerely happy. Although this matter was a big matter to Tang Yun, it didn't matter much to the others. They were only nervous because they cared about Tang Yun. After a long time, the two of them separated. Tang Yun's eyes were already filled with tears. She seemed to feel the hardships Xiaoming had gone through all these years, and felt her longing for her. Tang Yin felt that it was the right decision to recognize her as her mother. Everything was settled, and all that was left was to go to Tang Yun's house. Once Tang Yun's problem was settled, Mrs. Tang and Mr. Tang's side was easy. Tang Yun didn't even need to do anything, Lin Yi could handle it himself. On the way to Tang Yun's house, when Xiaoming didn't know what to do, Lin Yi had already made up his mind. Bingtang will definitely go back to the Ice Palace with Xiao Xiao. She can't stay here for long, so Tang Yun's life won't change much. Auntie Xiaoming, if you don't like the hidden Tang family, you can stay here and live with Tang Yun's parents. That way you can see Tang Yun often. Lin Yi's suggestion moved Xiaoming. To be honest, she didn't have anything to miss about the hidden Tang family. Chapter 1650. She didn't have any love for Boss Tang. All her thoughts were on Tang Yun, so staying here wasn't a bad idea. But she was worried about the hidden house Tang and Tang Yun's attitude. Would the hidden house Tang not agree? Would they dare? Bingtang said in disdain. It's not that I'm looking down on them, but killing them is just a matter of a thought. St. Hall. Lin Yi heard Bingtang's words and couldn't help but click his tongue. A sky-class girl was indeed domineering, but with her Ice Palace's strength, it wasn't too much for her to say that. A sky-class girl is amazing, Lin Yi said. Looks like I have to work hard. Ahahaha. Bingtang looked at Lin Yi coldly. Then Tang Yun, do you think it's good for me to stay here? Xiaoming cared about Tang Yun's opinion. Of course. That way, I'll have two moms. Tang Yun said happily. Thank you. Xiaoming was very happy to hear that. Mrs. Tang packed her luggage and waited for Tang Yun and Lin Yi to come back. They said they would leave tomorrow morning, but the two still hadn't come back. It was already dark, and Mrs. Tang was about to call them to ask when Lin Yi and Tang Yun would come back when the doorbell rang. Why are you back so late? Did you pack your things? Mrs. Tang opened the door and was talking to Tang Yun when she realized that there were two people standing behind Tang Yun and Lin Yi. She froze. Xiaoqing and Xiao Xiao didn't follow this time, so the people outside were naturally Xiaoming and Bingtang. Guests? Mrs. Tang didn't look closely and asked curiously. Xiaoming saw Mrs. Tang and felt all sorts of emotions welling up in her heart. Her tears fell again as she choked. Mrs. Tang heard someone call her sis, and the voice was very familiar as well. She paused and looked carefully. She was stunned. You're Xiaoming? Sister. Xiaoming rushed in and couldn't help but hug Mrs. Tang. She sobbed and said, Sister, it's me. Xiaoming, it's really you. You're back. Mrs. Tang originally had some resentment towards Xiaoming, but after Tang Juqing's explanation, her resentment towards Xiaoming lessened. Now that she saw Xiaoming, she couldn't help but recall the past. In an instant, all sorts of emotions welled up in her heart. She hugged Xiaoming and patted her back. Xiaoming, don't cry, don't cry. Did you suffer a lot over there? Tell Big Sis. Big Sis will let your niece-in-law vent your anger for you. Nephew's son-in-law? Isn't that Lin Yi? Hearing what Mrs. Tang said, Xiaoming almost smiled through her tears. However, thinking that they hadn't made things clear yet, she didn't say much. Lin Yi and Tang Yun, on the other hand, couldn't help but smile at each other. Tang Juqing also walked out of the room at this time. Seeing Mrs. Tang and Xiaoming hugging each other, he was stunned. What's going on? Dad. Auntie is back. Tang Yun wanted to say Mom, but she remembered that her dad didn't know the truth yet. It would be troublesome if she said it now. She might as well call her auntie first. Holy Church Xiaoming? Xiaoming is back. Tang Juqing was a little surprised. He looked at the woman beside Mrs. Tang in disbelief. Xiaoming is back. It's me, brother-in-law. Xiaoming raised her head. She was a little emotional. Brother-in-law, I'm back. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. All these years, brother-in-law has been feeling guilty. I shouldn't have brought you to the hidden Tang family. I brought trouble to you for no reason. Tang Juqing looked at Xiaoming and felt very sad. Although he wasn't to blame for what happened back then, it was still because of the Tang family. The hidden Tang family was also considered Tang Juqing's family. Hence, Tang Juqing always felt that he had a lot of responsibility for this. Tang Juqing saw Bingtang at the door. At this moment, Bingtang was also sizing up her biological parents. These two people were obviously much older than Boss Tang and Xiaoming. One look and you could tell that they were ordinary people from poor families. However, the decorations of the house were very luxurious. This made Bing Tang feel strange about Tang Yun's family background. Could it be that the hard work in the early years made these two old people age prematurely? This is my cousin, also my cousin Bing Tang. Tang Yun introduced Bing Tang to her father. Then she said, Dad, Mom, don't stand at the door. Let's talk in the house? Okay. Look at how excited I am. I'm blocking the door. If the neighbors see me, they'll laugh at me. Mrs. Tang smiled bitterly and shook her head. Then she said, Come in and sit. Quick, come into the house. This must be my niece, right? She's called Bing Tang? What a nice name. Uh-huh. Tang Yin chuckled dryly. Mom, I'm your niece. But this relationship. Yun, I'm not suitable to be here. I'll go back first. I'll come see you tomorrow morning. Linny felt that he was a bit of a hindrance here. The rest was Tang Yun's family's business. He didn't need to do anything. And that's fine. Tang Yun thought about it and nodded at Lin Yi. The scene later was indeed not suitable for Lin Yi to be here. After leaving Tang Yun's house, Lin Yi didn't care about the results of the discussion. Lin Yi couldn't participate in it, and so he drove straight back to the Chu villa. Xiao, Qing, Mingyao, and Yushu came up to him as soon as he entered the door. Lin Yi, how was it? Over there. Did Mrs. Tang accept them? I came back first. I didn't participate in the specifics. Lin Yi shook his head with a bitter smile. Then he said, I really can't participate in something like this. After listening to Lin Yi's words, everyone nodded silently. Lin Yi's words weren't wrong. The rest was Tang Yun's family's own business. It was a quiet night. Qing slept in the guest room, while Mengyao, Yushu, and Xiao slept in the same room. The three hadn't seen each other in a long time, and they were very close. Xiao had been living in the villa before her illness started acting up, so they weren't unfamiliar with each other. The three started laughing and joking around on the bed. Wow, Xiao, your body is so cool. Perfect for me. I'm dying from the heat. Yushu hugged Xiao tightly. Stupid Shu, are you trying to kill me? Don't squeeze me with your big chest, I'm suffocating. Xiao pushed her away. Huh. Mengyao couldn't help but laugh at the two's conversation. Yao, I feel like you're becoming more and more like Shield Bro, especially when you laugh. Yushu said suddenly. Target = blank. Chapter 1651. Is that so? Mengyao paused. Heart, I think so. Xiao nodded. Linny Honey likes to smile like that too. Maybe he learned it from me. Mengyao, naturally, wouldn't admit that Lin Yi's influence had affected her subconsciously. Ugh. Xiao and Shu were speechless. Lin Yi, on the other hand, continued practicing in his room. He was provoked by that sky-class girl Crystal Candy today, and Lin Yi was filled with fighting spirit and anger. Lin Yi didn't feel like this even when facing those seniors, but Crystal Candy was the only one that Lin Yi wasn't satisfied with. And so Lin Yi gritted his teeth and continued to condense the energy ball. He was determined to succeed or die trying. And so he decided to make a super energy ball tonight. Lin Yi's heart was filled with fighting spirit, and after 2 failures, he actually succeeded on the last attempt. Looking at the energy ball in his hand, Lin Yi was overjoyed. Haha, under the stimulation of the sky-class girl, Lin Yi actually managed to condense the first energy ball that would allow him to break through from golden class late phase peak to earth class early phase. Wahahaha, Lin Yi really wanted to laugh heartily. He hadn't made any progress for so many days, but he succeeded after 2 attempts. How could Lin Yi not be happy? It seemed that he needed someone to spur him on, otherwise he wouldn't be able to condense the energy ball this quickly. Of course, Lin Yi had been practicing for so long, and he had already condensed it for so long. Otherwise, no matter how much Crystal Candy pushed him, he wouldn't have succeeded. Lin Yi was smiling, pleased with himself, when the energy ball exploded in a moment of carelessness. Lin Yi's eyes widened in shock. Heart 7 *. What did extreme joy beget sorrow? This was called extreme joy turning to sorrow. He'd spent so much effort to create the first energy ball that could allow him to break through to Earth class. And yet he'd accidentally caused it to explode because of his happiness. *T. Lin Yi's eyes widened. He looked at his empty hand in disappointment. The energy ball was gone. Haha. Jiao Yazi looked at Lin Yi and couldn't help but burst into laughter. Wahahahaha. I'm dying of laughter. Tell me, why are you laughing after you've condensed it? It's over, right? Lin Yi glared at Jiao Yazi and said, Don't laugh. What are you laughing at? Can't I just condense it a little more? Since I succeeded once, there should be a second time. Lin Yi took a deep breath, calmed himself down, and prepared to condense the next energy ball. In the end, just when Lin Yi was full of confidence, the condensation of this energy ball failed. This made Lin Yi a little depressed, but Lin Yi wasn't discouraged. After adjusting his state, he continued to condense the energy ball. This time, Lin Yi was very careful. He didn't dare to have a trace of arrogance or impatience. He was very careful as he increased the energy inside the energy ball bit by bit. After a while, the energy ball finally filled up, and it was about to reach the numerical value that Lin Yi had set for it to level up. Lin Yi took a deep breath and rested for a while. Then he didn't dare to be negligent and started to carefully increase the energy inside the energy ball again. Finally, Lin Yi successfully condensed another energy ball. This time Lin Yi didn't dare to laugh. After condensing the energy ball, he didn't delay and directly absorbed it into his body. He started to let the energy ball release energy inside his body. And so Lin Yi's strength shot up like a rocket. From the peak of the late phase of the golden class, he broke through to the early phase of the mystic class, then the peak of the early phase, the middle phase, the peak of the middle phase, the late phase, and finally, the peak of the late phase. And the energy inside the energy ball hadn't been released yet. Lin Yi was surprised and happy. It seemed like it was a success this time. Lin Yi didn't dare to be negligent and continued to release the energy inside the energy ball. But this time something strange happened. Although the energy ball was slowly releasing, Lin Yi's strength stopped at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class. Until the energy ball was completely released, Lin Yi was still at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class. But the next moment, Lin Yi's strength started to rapidly dissipate again. From the peak of the late phase of the mystic class, it was like a balloon deflating, falling all the way to a normal person. It didn't work? Lin Yi frowned. The energy he absorbed in his body was clearly enough to break through to the earth class, but why didn't it break through? Lin Yi couldn't figure it out. He had to ask Jiao Yazi again. Jiao Lao, why didn't I break through this time? Let me ask you, when you were at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class, you cultivated every day and absorbed qi, but why didn't you break through? Jiao Yazi didn't answer Lin Yi's question. 7 asterisk. This. Lin Yi paused, but he instantly understood what Jiao Yazi was trying to say. You mean that this time is the same as before? It's not easy to break through from the peak of the late phase of the mystic class to the earth class. It's not something that can be done with just enough energy. Is that right? Yes. Is there a lot of energy in the jade space? So much that you can break through to the earth class 100 times. But why didn't you break through? That's the reason. Jiao Yazi said. Breaking through requires accumulation and luck. It's not something that can be done with just enough energy. You've already taken too many shortcuts compared to others, and you're still not satisfied? That's true. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Then what if I release all the remaining energy in the ball when I'm at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class? I don't know, but what's the difference between that and you using compressed energy to break through? Jiao Yazi said. But you can try again and see if there's any hope. I'll try. Lin Yi was helpless. He was full of confidence before, thinking that as long as he could condense the energy ball, he could break through to the earth class. But now, it seemed like he was too naive. How could it be that easy to break through? Before his strength dropped, breaking through was already hard enough. Now that his strength dropped again, breaking through was even harder. And he was so naive to think that as long as he absorbed enough energy, he would be able to break through. Lin Yi rested for a while and raised his strength to the peak of the late phase of the golden class. He condensed another energy ball, and this time it was successful. Chapter 1652. This time, after Lin Yi broke through to the peak of the late phase of mystic class, he released all the remaining energy in the energy ball. Boom! The result wasn't out of Lin Yi's expectations. Not only did it not level up, but it also damaged most of his meridians. It seems like I really can't do it. Linny sighed. Could it be that I have to wait until next spring? But time waits for no man. I can't wait that long. I can't do anything about this. Jiao Yazi said. But you can ask Bingtang, maybe she has a way. After all, she's a sky class master. Jiao Lao, tell me the truth. What's your real strength? Lin Yi suddenly thought of a question. This was a question he wanted to ask for a long time. Me? I'm not sure. Jiao Yazi shook his head and said regretfully. In this jade space, there's only a virtual body of mine, not my real body. All my memories haven't been unlocked. Only when you practice the second stage of the art of dragon mastery will some of my memories be unlocked. So, I can't help you too much now. My memories are incomplete. I understand. Linny nodded. Then I'll go ask Bingtang tomorrow. This time, I might have to lower my head first. Linny didn't want to lower his head to Bingtang, but he had no choice. Among the people that Linny knew, only Bingtang had the highest level. If he could still contact his master, he could ask him, but ever since his master left that time, there was no news of him. Old Lin's knowledge was limited. After a night's rest, Linny drove to Tang Yun's neighborhood early in the morning. He didn't know how Tang Yun's family, Bingtang, and Little Ming's conversation went. Although Linny didn't think it was a big problem, he was still worried along the way. However, when Linny saw Tang Yun's smiling face when she opened the door, Lin Yi's nervous heart immediately relaxed. It seemed like Tang Yun's family's problem had been solved. What do you think? Is everything done? Linny asked in a low voice. Yeah. It's all taken care of, everyone's satisfied. Tang Yun nodded. That's good. Linny breathed a sigh of relief. Yun, is that Linny? Let him come in and pay his respects to his second mother-in-law. Mrs. Tang's voice rang out, followed by the sound of footsteps. Holy Church, sis, don't spout nonsense. What second mother-in-law? That sounds so bad. Didn't we agree that in front of outsiders, I'm still Yun's auntie? The one who spoke was Xiaoming. She quickly walked out with Mrs. Tang, feeling a little embarrassed. Isn't that in front of outsiders? It's not in front of outsiders, it's in front of our family. This is our son-in-law, Xiaoyi. How is he an outsider? Mrs. Tang said. Xiaoming, you have to get used to it. Didn't we agree yesterday that you'll be living here from now on? Hee, that's mother-in-law. But Yun and I aren't married yet, so I'll call you Aunt Xiaoming. As for Mrs. Tang, it's better to call her Aunt Wang or Aunt Tang. Linny said. Tang Yun's mother was called Wang Yujia, and Xiaoming's name was Wang Yeming. Linny could only call them that. Okay, we'll call them that, Xiaoming nodded. Bingtang, what are you doing? You stupid child, come and meet your brother-in-law. After all, they were mother and daughter. In just one night, Mrs. Tang and Bingtang became familiar. Mrs. Tang didn't care whether Bingtang was a heaven-class master or the palace master of Ice Palace. She was her own flesh and blood. She didn't hold back when she spoke to her. Of course, although Bingtang was her own flesh and blood, Tang Yun was still more important in Mrs. Tang's heart. After all, she raised Tang Yun since she was young. But she also liked Bingtang. Who wouldn't be happy to have two daughters at once? Last night, they talked until very late and confirmed their relationship. Tang Yun and Bingtang both called Wang Yujia mommy, while Tang Yun called Xiaoming mommy at home. Outside, she called Xiaoming auntie. This was also because she didn't want the neighbors to gossip about this matter if they knew the truth. As for Bingtang, she naturally called Xiaoming auntie. Actually, this family of four was basically equivalent to two mothers and two children. She's a heaven-class girl, of course she's arrogant. My brother-in-law is too weak and she looks down on him, Linny said purposely. Bingtang looked at Linny coldly furious. She didn't like this spoiled bastard. If it weren't for Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao, how could a high and mighty heaven class have anything to do with Linny? And this guy was annoying too. He didn't respect her at all and gave her a nickname, Heaven Class Girl. What kind of ridiculous nickname was that? It was horrible. Who dared to call her a Heaven Class Girl in front of the master of Ice Palace? Bingtang was furious, but she didn't expect Mrs. Tang to start nagging before she could say anything. Bingtang, she asked you to come over. You really have a tough life, kid. You were dumped by that damned hidden house Tang before, and now you're a step too late. Otherwise, you would have been your boyfriend, and Enin wouldn't have had a chance. Mrs. Tang nagged again. That's right. Bingtang almost fell to the ground after hearing Mrs. Tang's words. Linny? What was so good about this guy? Was it because he was too late? Even if she came earlier, she couldn't have found him, could she? Brother-in-law, I'm waiting for the day you surpass heaven class and become a mystic first-level refiner. Bingtang gritted her teeth as she spoke to Lin Yi. Oh, soon, but I'm afraid that Tang Yin won't accept you, Lin Yi said faintly. Won't accept what? What are you guys talking about? Tang Yin didn't understand what Lin Yi and Bingtang were talking about. Nothing, Bingtang said with a dark face. At noon, Lin Yi booked a table at Pengzhan Business Hotel and invited Tang Yin's family for lunch. Mingyao, Yushu, and Qing naturally came as well. Tang Yin's family's business was settled, and everyone had no more pressure. Everyone was chatting and laughing happily. Only Rock Candy remained cold and serious. She would only force a smile when Mrs. Tang called out to her, enjoying the warmth of familial love. Mrs. Tang, on the other hand, was a little emotional as she looked at Tang Yin, then back at Rock Candy. Man, suddenly finding out that Yin Yin isn't my biological daughter. I really can't talk about her like I used to in the future. Tang Yin sighed. Chapter 1653. Mom, what are you talking about? Tang Yin said. I'm still your daughter, I was and I still am. You can say whatever you want, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm the one who needs to be careful. Don't let Tang Yin hate me. Xiaoming smiled. 7 asterisk. I still have to go back to the Ice Palace. I'll leave Mom and Auntie here to you. Tang Yin, take care of them for me. Bingtang sighed. She enjoyed the warmth of a family, but it was far away from her. She would still be the high and mighty palace master once she returned to the Ice Palace. After dinner, Lin Yi, Tang Yin, Xiao Xiao, Qing, Xiaoming, Bingtang, and Tang Yun's parents prepared to go to the hidden house Tang. Xiaoming wanted to tell old Tang that she would be staying in Songshan, but she didn't dare say it herself. She could only let Bingtang do it. The Miss and Shu wanted to go as well, but this was the hidden house Tang's birthday banquet, and they didn't have any relationship with the Tang family. There was no reason for them to go, and it wouldn't be interesting anyway, so Mingyao and Yushu stayed at home. Lin Yi, come with me. Bingtang called Lin Yi to Tang Yun's room before they left. Holy hall, oh. Lin Yi paused, but seeing Tang Yun's eye signal, he followed Bingtang into Tang Yun's room. You haven't recovered your strength yet, right? Bingtang glanced at Lin Yi and asked faintly. Not yet, do you have a way? Lin Yi was surprised that Bingtang would bring this up, but thinking about it, Tang Yun must have said something to her last night. As expected, Bingtang continued. If it wasn't for Tang Yun speaking up for you, I wouldn't have bothered thinking about you. Huh. Lin Yi laughed at himself. Yeah, he was a mystic, and he wasn't even a mystic anymore. If it weren't for this nepotism, Bingtang wouldn't have spent so much effort on him. But Lin Yi was a proud and stubborn person. After laughing, he said, Count it as the second favor I owe you. If I have the chance, I'll pay it back. No need. I've thought about it, but I still can't help you, Rock Candy said. If it's Xiao Xiao, I can use my own true qi to forcibly transfer it into her body to help her break through. I'd rather lose some of my strength. As long as Xiao Xiao, Yin Yin, and Mom are happy, I'll help you. However, our physiques and the mental cultivation methods we cultivate are far from each other. I heard from Xiao Xiao that you cultivate a mental cultivation method of extreme yang attribute. If I transfer my true qi to you, you will basically go berserk. You won't be able to refine my qi for your own. Lin Yi agreed with Bingtang's words. If it was just a small amount of different qi, Lin Yi could forcefully refine it, but if it was too much different qi, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to refine it. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was starting to get a little envious of Naipeo. This guy's practitioner's arts were quite powerful, being able to refine different types of qi from different people. He didn't reject anyone, however much he wanted. But Lin Yi was the opposite. Lin Yi could turn the energy in his body into other people's qi, no matter how much he wanted. It was the complete opposite of Naipeo. Saint Hall, comparatively speaking, they each had their own strengths. But at this stage, Naipeo's arts were more useful for Lin Yi's current situation. Then, other than waiting for spring next year, I'll make the antidote. Is there no other way? Linny asked, a little regretful. I haven't thought of one yet, but from what I've seen, you should have a way to recover your strength quickly, right? Bingtang asked. Naipeo sucked all of your strength dry, and you recovered in one night. You even broke through. It's impossible without some secret technique. That's true. Linny didn't hide it. This had happened in the Ice Palace's turf, and there was no way the sect master wouldn't know about it. She just didn't know the specifics. As a result, Linny said honestly, I've tried to recover many times, but once I reach Mystic, my strength drops like water, so I can only recover to Golden Class late phase peak for now. You want to use this method to break through to Earth Class? Bingtang was very smart. She understood Lin Yi's intentions right away. After all, Linny knew that recovering to Mystic would decrease his strength, and yet he did it so many times. It was obvious that he wanted to use this method to break through to Earth Class. Otherwise, he'd just give up if it didn't work once or twice. Why would he keep on doing it? Yes. Linny nodded. Then what's the most you can recover to? Bingtang said after a sigh. Mystic late phase peak. Linny said. I can go even more, but I'm limited by my strength before, and I haven't broken through to Earth Class yet. I haven't broken through after recovering, and it's very hard to find the right opportunity to do so. Oh, you can get to Mystic late phase peak in one go? Bingtang was a bit surprised. She didn't expect Lin Yi to be this strong. It's alright, but it's useless. I can't break through and I'll still drop. Linny said. If that's the case, then I do have a way for you to break through to Earth Class. But there will be some drawbacks. Bingtang frowned and said after some hesitation. Let's hear it. Linny asked. As long as there was hope, it was fine. That chi gathering pill. Is it still on you? Bingtang asked. I remember that you said you had a chi gathering pill that you wanted to trade for the fruit. Yes, it's still there. Linny nodded. He could guess what Bingtang was trying to say. You're saying that you want me to use the chi gathering pill? Aren't chi gathering pills supposed to be used when breaking through to Sky Class when you're at peak late phase? You can use it for Mystic late phase peak to break through to Earth Class, but it's a bit of a waste. Bingtang said. It can be used as an experience pill, and it can also be used as a miracle pill for breaking through. But after you use it once, the natural chi in the air will lose its effect on you. If you want to train again, you'll have to continue using the chi gathering pill to increase your strength. The chi in it is too pure, even the spirit vein in the Ice Palace can't compare to it. I see. Linny breathed a sigh of relief after listening to Bingtang's words. The natural chi in the air was useless to Linny anymore. In terms of purity, what could be more pure than the energy in the jade space? Chapter 1654. This was the purest form of energy. It could be converted into whatever type of chi it wanted. And the chi gathering pill, at most, would be as pure as the energy in the jade space, or even less. So Linny wasn't afraid of the side effects of using the pill, preventing him from continuing his training. Holy Church, however, to waste this chi amassing pill just like that was really a pity. Using it when breaking through to Earth Class, probably only Lin Yi would do this. But there was no other way, and Lin Yi was already thankful that he had this method. You want to use it? Bingtang saw Lin Yi's expression, and guess what he was thinking? Yeah, Lin Yi didn't deny it. Right now this is the only way, why not? Have you thought about the consequences? You might be stuck at Earth Class for the rest of your life, if you can't become a refiner and continue making chi gathering pills, Bingtang reminded. That's impossible, Lin Yi said. You. Bingtang was pissed off by Lin Yi's words. She was being kind, but if Lin Yi was stuck at Earth Class for the rest of his life, what would happen to Feng Xiaoxiao? Tang Yin was a normal person, so it didn't matter, but Xiaoxiao was someone who wanted to pursue the heavenly Tao. She couldn't be with an Earth Class practitioner, so for Xiaoxiao's sake, Bingtang tried to convince Lin Yi to give up, but Lin Yi didn't seem to care about the side effects of the chi gathering pill at all. Thanks, I'm going to use the chi gathering pill. Before we leave, I want to break through to Earth Class, Lin Yi said to Bingtang. Think about it carefully, don't hurt yourself and others. Waiting for a year might not be a big deal, Bingtang said. Ha, Sky Class girl, are you afraid that I won't be able to marry you if I stay at Earth Class? Lin Yi turned around and teased. Fuck off, Bing Tang said faintly. Bing Charcoal indifferently said this one word. His heart was burning with rage, and he didn't want to care about this guy anymore. If he wanted to eat, then eat. And so, Lin Yi found a quiet room in Tang Yan's house and began his breakthrough journey. Based on Lin Yi's previous experience, Lin Yi prepared the qi gathering pill and placed it beside him. Then, he entered the space in the jade pendant and began to condense the energy ball. Due to his previous experience, the speed and quality of Lin Yi's energy ball condensation this time had greatly improved. Now that he had succeeded on his first try, he didn't need to do it a second time. It was a walk in the park. Lin Yi wasn't worried about this. If he couldn't condense it the first time, he could condense it the second time. At most, it would just waste some time. The most important thing was that the moment he reached Mystic Late Phase Peak, Lin Yi needed to use the Qi Gathering Pill. He couldn't use it too early or too late. He needed to grasp the timing. Bing Tang had said that this pill could be used as an experience pill, and it could also be used as a miracle pill for breakthroughs. There were two different effects, and Lin Yi used it as a miracle pill for breakthroughs. What if he didn't reach Mystic Late Phase Peak? If he used it directly, it'd be a disaster if the pill only served as an experience pill and didn't help him break through. That'd be terrible. Holy Church, and if he took it too late and dropped a level again, it would still be equivalent to an experience pill. So he couldn't miss this opportunity. After taking a deep breath, Lin Yi quickly absorbed the energy ball into his body and used the energy ball's energy to break through. His strength rose all the way from Golden Late Phase Peak to Mystic Late Phase Peak. In an instant, Lin Yi exited the jade space, but his body was still using the art of dragon mastery to control the energy ball to slowly release the remaining energy. This way, it could ensure that Lin Yi wouldn't drop a level immediately, and it could also ensure that the remaining energy wouldn't blow up Lin Yi's meridians. Lin Yi grabbed the Qi Gathering Pill and swallowed it. In an instant, a warm current flowed from Lin Yi's abdomen to the rest of his body, and it was as if his meridians were on fire. Lin Yi didn't try to resist it, but let it develop naturally. He gritted his teeth and waited for the follow-up to develop. After all, Lin Yi didn't know what would happen after using the Qi Gathering Pill. This time, he was just trying it out. This burning feeling was getting stronger and stronger, and Lin Yi felt like he was on fire. But even so, Lin Yi gritted his teeth and persevered. This feeling was a little familiar. It was a little like when he broke through for the first time, but it was a little different. It also had the burning feeling of using compressed qi to force a breakthrough. Although it wasn't as domineering, Lin Yi could feel that his clothes were about to be burnt. But no matter what, this was a good thing. Although Lin Yi felt uncomfortable, he was very happy. The more painful it was, the more similar feeling he had when he broke through, the more stable Lin Yi's heart felt. If he didn't feel anything, then Lin Yi would be depressed. Because the Qi Gathering Pill was his last chance. The energy in the energy ball in his body was finally released, but to Lin Yi's relief, his strength didn't start to dissipate. Instead, in an instant, the aura in the air gathered and hovered above Lin Yi's head, forming an extremely weak vortex. Rock Candy was right. The aura in the natural world was really scarce, especially in the city. However, this aura was only automatically gathered during a breakthrough. This time, Lin Yi's breakthrough relied on the Qi Gathering Pill, not the aura. Therefore, the amount of the aura was not important to Lin Yi. To put it bluntly, the aura in the world resonated with the qi in Lin Yi's body. It circulated around Lin Yi's body rapidly, faster and faster. And Lin Yi felt that his body temperature was getting higher and higher. Lin Yi could even smell something burning. It was his clothes. The clothes on Lin Yi's body had turned into pieces and fell to the ground. However, Lin Yi didn't care about this anymore. As long as he could break through, it wouldn't be a problem even if he burned the house down. At most, he would let Fatty Lai find someone to decorate it. In the previous few breakthroughs, Lin Yi did it in the jade space, and the burnt clothes were also virtual clothes in the jade space, so it didn't affect the outside world. But this time, Lin Yi broke through outside the jade space, and the movement was a little bigger. Although ordinary people couldn't feel heaven and earth's spiritual energy, Rock Candy could feel it. Chapter 1655. She looked at Lin Yi's room and couldn't help but frown. It seemed like Lin Yi was about to break through. He had taken the Qi Gathering Pill after all. She didn't know where Lin Yi got his confidence from, but based on her observation of Lin Yi, this guy always had a trump card up his sleeve when he did things, and he had a lot of them. Could it be that this time, Lin Yi had a trump card as well? Thinking of this, she suddenly had a faint worry. Did this mean that Lin Yi had the possibility to surpass Sky Class and step into Heaven's path? And could he really become a mystic first-level refiner? If Lin Yi really did it, wouldn't she have to fulfill her promise and become his little wife? She couldn't help but blush, and then her face darkened. Impossible, right? This guy couldn't be that strong, right? She was worrying too much. He was just a mystic master, and he had just stepped into Earth class after taking the chi-gathering pill. How could a practitioner like this compare to Heaven's path? And Lin Yi wasn't even a golden first-level refiner. How could he become a mystic first-level refiner? It was completely impossible. She comforted herself in her heart. Holy Hall, however, although normal people couldn't feel the chi of heaven and earth, they could smell the burnt smell. The most nervous people were Tang Yun and Feng Xiaoxiao. Tang Yun looked at the closed door and asked nervously, "Bingtang sis, will Lin Yi be okay?" He shouldn't be. Bingtang didn't know. She had never taken the chi-gathering pill before, and no one in the Ice Palace had either. She didn't know what would happen after taking it, so she could only give a vague answer. Just as he was speaking, he heard a loud boom coming from behind the closed door. It was earth-shattering and deafening, and even the ground trembled. The loud noise startled Tang Yun's family. What happened? Did something happen to Lin Yi, hubby? Xiaoxiao was panicking. She'd gone from a normal person to golden class early phase before, and she'd never made such a big commotion. So this explosion from Lin Yi made her jump. Lin Yi, honey, can't explode, right? Yes, Sister Bingtang, what happened to Lin Yi? Let's go check it out. Tang Yun was getting anxious. Mrs. Tang and Xiao Ming were also very anxious. After all, Lin Yi was their son-in-law. They didn't know what happened to Lin Yi's loud noise, so they looked at Rock Candy helplessly. Shall we go and take a look? Rock Candy was also a little hesitant. He can't be disturbed when he is breaking through. Why don't I go take a look first? You guys wait here. After all, I am also a cultivator, and a peak late-stage heaven rank at that. I can hide my aura and not disturb Lin Yi's breakthrough. And that's good. Rock Candy sis, hurry up and take a look. Tang Yun said anxiously. Rock Candy didn't have a choice. She was the strongest here, so she could only go check it out. This was the first time she'd heard of a huge explosion during cultivation, and she didn't have much experience. So, she carefully went to Lin Yi's room, hid her aura, and tiptoed in. She raised her head and was about to check what was going on when she suddenly realized that Lin Yi was sitting on the ground without a stitch on his body. This was the first time she saw a mature man without clothes, and she froze. She didn't know what to do. What was Lin Yi doing, not wearing clothes while cultivating? Ah! Rock Candy screamed and ran out of the room with a red face. She was really shocked, but one thing was for sure, Lin Yi was fine. Other than being naked, he was completely fine. What's wrong, Rock Candy sis? What happened to Lin Yi? Tang Yun saw Rock Candy's expression and thought that she had seen something horrifying, so she quickly asked, "Yes, senior sis, what happened to Lin Yi's honey?" Xiaoxiao was shocked as well. "No, it's okay. He's fine." Bingtang blushed and stuttered. She didn't know what to say. At this moment, her heart was still beating wildly. The image of Lin Yi without clothes flashed in her mind. Bingtang was furious. This bastard, he didn't wear clothes when he practiced. What kind of habit was this? Nothing? Then you. Tang Yun looked at Rock Candy suspiciously, but because she was worried about Lin Yi, she walked quickly to the room, and Xiaoxiao followed behind her into Lin Yi's room. Ah! Tang Yun was shocked when she saw the scene in the room. Her face was red, but she didn't react as much as Rock Candy. After all, she and Lin Yi were boyfriend and girlfriend, and the two weren't that close. This situation made Tang Yun shy, but she didn't panic. Xiaoxiao, on the other hand, didn't gasp. She was shocked as well, but she said something that shocked Tang Yun even more. "Wow, Lin Yi honey is so rich. We'll be happy from now on." Tang Yun was fine at first, but Xiaoxiao's words made her face as red as the sunset. She coughed awkwardly. "What are you talking about, Xiaoxiao? Let's go out." Since Lin Yi is fine, Let's not disturb his cultivation. Oh, okay. But I still want to see more. Xiao Xiao mumbled to herself. I can only feast my eyes now. I can't go up until I break through to sky class. Tang Yin staggered and almost fell on the ground. She was practically running away, dragging Xiao Xiao out of the room. She looked at the blushing rock candy and gave her an apologetic look. I'm sorry, rock candy sis. I didn't know it would be like this. It's nothing. I didn't see anything. Naturally, rock candy wouldn't admit what she saw. This Lin Yi was a jinx. Nothing good would come out of meeting him. She'd really stained her eyes. Liar, you must have seen it. Why else would you blush? Compared to Tang Yin, Xiao Xiao was more familiar with rock candy. She didn't hesitate to expose rock candy's lie. I didn't see it clearly either. Rock candy was so angry she wanted to kick Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao lowered her voice. You must have seen it clearly. Never mind, as a small wife, I won't hold you responsible anymore. Otherwise, you would have been seen for nothing. Rock candy couldn't help but get pissed. Being seen for nothing? I didn't even say anything about holding him responsible. And you're not holding me responsible anymore. Chapter 1656. Lin Yi knew what was going on outside, but Lin Yi had just broken through. And the chi in his body hadn't been adjusted yet. He couldn't move or speak, and so he could only let Tang Yin, and Xiao Xiao come in and out, unable to explain himself. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly at the girls' conversation outside the door. After about 10 minutes, Lin Yi finally adjusted the chi in his body, and his strength stabilized as well. Lin Yi was now an Earth Class early phase master. Phew. This feels great. Lin Yi stood up, feeling that his hearing, sight, and senses were all much clearer. The feeling of an Earth Class was completely different from when he was at Mystic Class, as if he had taken a leap in quality. This feeling made Lin Yi feel great. He didn't know why Boss Yu was afraid of Lin Yi, who was at the peak of Mystic mid-phase. It was a bit unbelievable. Even if this guy was afraid of death, he shouldn't be afraid to this extent, right? Lin Yi now felt that facing someone below Earth Class was like playing a game. It was a very easy thing to do, even if there were 3 or 4 Mystic Class masters surrounding him. Lin Yi felt that he could handle it easily. Of course, this might have something to do with the practitioner's arts. Lin Yi's art of dragon mastery was stronger, and Boss Yu's wasn't that strong. 7*. Looking at the clothes on the ground, Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He didn't train in the Jade space this time, so his clothes were ruined. Luckily, Lin Yi was preparing to go to the hidden house Tang, and he had some clothes in his luggage. Lin Yi took out his phone and called Tang Yin. Lin Yi. Tang Yin saw that Lin Yi was calling and was confused. Are you okay? And I'm fine. Take out a set of clothes from your luggage and send it to me. My clothes are ruined. Lin Yi said with a bitter smile. If you are embarrassed, you can ask Xiao Xiao to send it in. And, okay. Tang Yin felt a little embarrassed thinking about the situation just now. Tang Yin sis, is that Lin Yi's husband? What's wrong with him? Xiao Xiao asked after Tang Yin hung up. Yes, it's him. He's fine, he's fine. He wants some clothes to be sent to him. His clothes seem to be ruined, Tang Yin said. Okay, leave it to me, I'll go get it for him. Xiao Xiao volunteered before Tang Yin could say anything. She wanted to go get the clothes for Lin Yi. Holy church, haha. Okay. Tang Yin was speechless. Compared to Xiao Xiao, she was still a little too cowardly. That was true. She heard that a lot of couples her age already went to the hotel to get a room. Tang Yin also heard a few guys and girls talking about getting a room at night after the exams. So this kind of thing was very common among couples nowadays. But Tang Yin was a more conservative person. She decided to follow Lin Yi, and she acknowledged Lin Yi in her heart. She just wasn't ready yet. Luckily, Lin Yi didn't force her, and that made her happy. She found a set of Lin Yi's clothes and excitedly sent it to Lin Yi's room. Lin Yi, honey, for you. Okay. Thanks, just wait for me outside. Lin Yi took the clothes and felt a little awkward when he saw Xiao Xiao's eyes staring at him. You've already seen me. If I don't look at you, wouldn't I be losing out? Xiao Xiao smiled. Plus, I'm your small wife. Are you afraid of looking? I'm here, you can change. Okay. Lin Yi shook his head helplessly as he looked at the tough Xiao Xiao. He was slowly getting used to this girl who dared to love and hate. Just like the first time he got close to her at the auction in Yanjing, when she asked if he wanted to touch her breasts. That was how he got to know her personality. And so Linny didn't hold back this time and changed right in front of Xiao Xiao. Wow, Linny honey is so handsome. Hug me, Xiao Xiao said as she jumped onto Linny. Linny could only pick her up and spin around on the ground. He didn't hide his strength after breaking through. And Xiao Xiao was a practitioner now. When Linny wasn't hiding his strength, she could feel it. She was surprised. Linny honey, you've broken through to Earth class? That's fast. Haha, aren't you faster? According to that Sky class girl of yours, you'll break through to Sky class soon. I need to work hard as well, Linny said. Hee, it won't be that fast. It'll take at least 2 years. I'll have to wait for you to become a refiner first. Xiao Xiao smiled. I'll wait for you. Okay, I'll fulfill my promise and become a refiner. Linny said. Trust me, that day won't be too long. Okay, I know. I'll wait for you. Xiao Xiao sighed and jumped off Linny. Actually, becoming an inheritor isn't necessarily a bad thing. You have to know that inheritors are the highest existences in every ancient sect. Many people want to become inheritors, but they can't. Becoming an inheritor means that you have to do that thing. But once that thing is done, there's a chance that you'll break through to Sky class and step into Sky class. That's a whole new realm. A realm that all Sky class masters dream of reaching. Only when you reach that realm can you learn more profound martial arts and techniques. And your lifespan and strength will increase as well. Pursuing greater strength was the dream and goal of every cultivator. Linny wasn't surprised that Xiao Xiao would change her mindset like this. She wasn't a practitioner before, so naturally she'd find it hard to choose between inheriting and doing something dangerous. But once Xiao Xiao stepped onto the path of practicing and looked at things from a practitioner's point of view, her perspective and thoughts would be completely different. Wasn't Lin Yi always chasing after greater strength? In this period of time, he'd done many dangerous things in order to level up. Things like compressing qi, and now using qi-gathering pills. Which one of them wasn't filled with unknown dangers? But Lin Yi still gave it a try. This was the pursuit of higher realms as a practitioner. Xiao Xiao was no exception. She wanted to become an inheritor. She wanted to step into Sky class and pursue Sky class. There was nothing wrong with that, and Lin Yi wouldn't stop her. In fact, he'd support her. After saying all that, Xiao Xiao kept worrying about Lin Yi's reaction. After all, she was different from Lin Yi. She was an inheritor, and her training conditions were exceptional. Chapter 1657. But Lin Yi didn't have such good conditions. Lin Yi had to rely on himself to level up bit by bit. And so Xiao Xiao was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't be happy that she was so much stronger than him. She was worried that Lin Yi wouldn't be happy that she was so much stronger than him. If Lin Yi didn't want her to be the inheritor, then Xiao Xiao would listen to Lin Yi without hesitation and give up on the inheritance, waiting for Lin Yi to make the ice heart pill for Bingtang and make her the inheritor. Holy Hall, I didn't think you'd think it through so quickly. Lin Yi didn't think much of it. Xiao Xiao was overthinking things. On one hand, Lin Yi wanted his woman to be strong, and on the other, Lin Yi had confidence in himself. It was just Sky class, right? He had the jade as a cheat, and he had the art of dragon mastery, an ancient practitioner's art. How could he lose to a mere ice palace inheritance? So Lin Yi wasn't worried about being left behind by Xiao Xiao. Quite the contrary, he was very supportive. Pursuing higher realms of martial arts is the ultimate goal of every practitioner. You're on the path of practicing now, it's normal for you to have this thought. But I won't let you be the inheritor alone. I'll make an ice heart jade bone pill for Crystal Candy, and let her accompany you as you inherit. That way, you'll be in less danger. If anything happens, let her be the scapegoat. Xiao Xiao couldn't help but laugh. Lin Yi honey, you're so naughty. Senior sister's going to be pissed when she hears that. Although Xiao Xiao said that, she was actually very happy inside. Lin Yi cared about her, and not only did he respect her choice, but he also protected her training as much as he could. Holy Hall, she won't be pissed to death, she'll be happy, Lin Yi said faintly. Having the ice heart pill is her dream. Why would she be angry? That's true, but she's really nice to me. Even if you didn't say anything, she wouldn't let me be in danger, Xiao Xiao said. Lin Yi nodded. He could see that Bingtang was very protective of Xiao Xiao. The two of them walked out of the room together. Tang Yun quickly walked up and asked about Lin Yi's well-being, while the Heaven Stage girl turned her face away and didn't look at Lin Yi. A faint blush appeared on her face. This chi-gathering pill actually blew up his clothes when he broke through. How scary. Lin Yi seemed to be talking to himself, but in fact, he was explaining the previous embarrassment to Rock Candy. This sudden incident was not the intention of Lin Yi, but an accident. This chi convergence pill actually blew up my clothes when I broke through. That's really scary. Holy hall. Lin Yi seemed to be talking to himself, but in fact, he was explaining the awkwardness to Rock Candy. This sudden incident was not the intention of Lin Yi, but an accident. Rock Candy humphed softly, but after hearing Lin Yi's explanation, her face relaxed quite a bit. The news of Lin Yi being poisoned by the 5-step dissipation spread like the wind through the noble houses and hidden houses. With the help of the hidden house Zhao, almost everyone knew about it. But although everyone knew about it, no one dared to cause trouble for Lin Yi. When the Xiao family heard about Lin Yi being poisoned, they immediately told the hidden house Pai, but they only said faintly that they understood, and then there was no more news. The hidden house Pai wasn't stupid. If the Xiao family knew about it, how could they not know about it? And it was the hidden house Zhao who'd spread the news on purpose, too. They'd heard about it before they could, and after a family meeting, they'd come to the conclusion that Lin Yi couldn't be judged by common sense. They'd even said that he'd lost his strength last time, and now Uncle Pai was killed. The second time, they were even more unlucky. Pai Yangyang and Mr. Pai were even more unlucky. They were killed by Air Gooden with one punch. So even if Lin Yi had lost his strength, there was still Air Gooden, whose condition was unknown. Messing with him at this time was not a smart choice. So under Pai Zhishan's suggestion, House Pai decided to wait and see. Of course, Pai Zhishan didn't know that this Lin Yi was the Ling Yi he met in the test. And the only families that had enmity with Lin Yi were the hidden house Zhao, the common house Yu, and the Xiao family. As for the others, the head of the Golden Bell sect and their prized disciple were either dead or crippled. Naturally, they wouldn't cause trouble for Lin Yi. If the hidden house Pai didn't do anything, how would the Xiao family have the guts to cause trouble for Lin Yi? As for the common house Yu, although they hated Lin Yi to the core, they had to prepare for the noble house meeting, so they didn't have the time to deal with Lin Yi. The problem was that the common house Yu had no one left, and the only practitioners who could walk were Yu Shuixing and Yu Feng. House Yu was the host of the noble house meeting, and they had too much work to do. Why would they go to Songshan to cause trouble for Lin Yi? Plus, Yu Feng had just crippled Chen Yutian. This was the time to avoid suspicion, so they couldn't go to Songshan. And so, the matter of Lin Yi losing his strength was left unsettled. Pinliang and Naipeo weren't practitioners, and the snake bites and 5-step disperser didn't cause any problems. They were fine after getting disinfected at the hospital. Chen Shi, on the other hand, was also affected by the poison, but she wasn't a true practitioner, so Boss Xu didn't have to worry about her. Chen Shi was cultivated by the hidden Zhao family as a cultivation cauldron. The so-called cultivation cauldron was a tool for other people to cultivate and absorb Zhen Qi. The hidden Zhao family heard that a certain powerful person cultivated an evil heart sutra and needed a lot of cultivation cauldrons. Chen Shi's physique just happened to be the most powerful type of cultivation cauldron, a fire-type cultivation cauldron. Therefore, in order to please this powerful person, the hidden Zhao family had already started planning this plan a long time ago. They wanted Chen Shi to be a chess piece of the hidden Zhao family, cultivated by Big Zhu. Actually, every hidden family was scheming. They were all thinking of ways to get in touch with the ancient sects and families in order to seek help. While helping them stabilize their position, it would be best if they could raise their position and obtain some benefits. This was something that these people dreamed of. As a cauldron, Chen Shi naturally didn't have to worry about losing her strength, because her body wasn't a practitioner's qi. She was trying to purify her fire element cauldron body. Otherwise, Lin Yi would have known that Chen Shi was a practitioner the moment he laid eyes on her, and there was no way he wouldn't be able to find out. And so the matter passed, disappointing the hidden house Xiao, especially Boss Zhu. He felt like he had wasted his effort in poisoning Lin Yi, and he still couldn't do anything to Lin Yi. Target =_.